Another game world?
Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links 6th anniversary!
You can't do a thing against my creepy crawlers. Here I go, my entire swarm attacks! What? You don't mean Mirror Force? Look at these great presents!
Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links campaign underway!
Ah!
Back for the first time in 4 years, the best duelist in the world will be decided. Yu-Gi-Oh! World Championship 2023. 2 digital titles are available from this year onward. The definitive strategic digital card game, Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel. The PC and mobile game that lets you battle with legendary duelists, Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links. Participate in the qualifiers and battle your way to the World Championship. Campaign underway.
And welcome, duelists. Welcome to the Road to Worlds 2023 campaign celebration. It's an absolute pleasure to be here. My name is Ed Templar, and I'm joined by Ibris Dye. Ibris, how are you doing?
I am very well, thank you, Ed. Very happy to be here and very happy to look at some WCS content.
We've got plenty of that coming your way. So we're here in this swanky studio to come and talk to you guys about everything that is going to be going on with the World Championship qualifiers for the WCS coming later this year. We've got quite a little bit of things going on. We're going to give you a sample of what you're going to be seeing at the WCS. This is the first Worlds that we've had since 2019, Ibris.
Yeah, and on top of that, not only do we have Duel Links returning to the world stage, but this is the first WCS that will feature Master Duel.
Very exciting. It's only come out a year ago. Obviously, we've recently had the first year anniversary going on in Master Duel, and here we are with it coming straight onto Worlds, which is very, very exciting. So throughout the show, we're going to have a handful of expert players who are going to be taking you guys through a little bit of a sample of what you're going to be seeing at the Worlds and also through the qualifying stages. And also, we're going to be going through exactly what those qualifying stages for both Duel Links and Master Duel are going to look like. So let me go through exactly how this is all going to play out. Ibris and I have got a little bit of rapport going on here for a chat, just to welcome all of you guys into this stream for the campaign celebration. But we have 2 segments for you. We have a Duel Links segment, where we have a best of 3 featuring Reggie Bang and Mangakar, 2 of our wonderful Duel Links influencers, who are going to be doing a little bit of a talk about the state of the game. And they're also going to be giving us a best of 3 exhibition match, which is going to be very exciting. We're going to have a little bit of a chat with them after, and we're also going to talk to them about exactly what Duel Links is going to look like during the WCQ and also the WCS. So that's going to be quite good, so that we can hear exactly what's going on.
Yeah, absolutely. And on the other hand, we will also have some Master Duel games being played with Farfa and Zulu and some of their teammates taking to the stage before we look to speak with them about similar to the Duel Links.
Exactly. We're going to be going through everything. So as you said, Ibris, we do have these 3v3s going on in Master Duel because that is the format that it's going to be taking part in the WCS. So we'll be showing off a little bit of a showcase of those duels. And then again, we're going to be chatting to Farfa and Zulu about the state of the meta in Master Duel, the format, and how exciting it is to finally have that in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Worlds, which is going to be very exciting. So before we, carry on, are you excited to finally be getting back into Worlds? It's been 4 years since the last one. Are we happy about this?
Very much so, and I'm sure that everybody else out there is as well. And in addition to that, we have some really cool campaigns in both of the digital titles currently running in-game.
We do, and we also have some giveaways for you guys because we actually have 5 Rescue Rabbit plushes, and also Yuya pendants, which you're going to hear plenty about how to get part of those giveaways as we go through the stream. So we're going to talk to you guys exactly how you can work towards qualifying for the WCS in each of those. So first off, like I said, we've got a Duel Links segment. So let's talk Duel Links. So, Ibris, today there's an in-game campaign that has just started. Do you want to tell people a little bit about that?
Yeah, so essentially we have a campaign themed around Arc 5. We have the Odd Eyes Raging Dragon coming to Duel Links for the first time.
Stunning. Exciting. How can people get a hold of the Odd Eyes Raging Dragon?
By taking part in the campaign. And actually, we are lucky enough to have some influencers joining us later, as you mentioned, who happen to be very, very big fans of that card in particular and can go into detail just to how you can best utilize that card.
So there's also the Odd Eyes Raging Dragon, as you mentioned, gifted. There's 1,000 gems available, a Dream UR and SR glossy ticket, both of those very, very exciting, and also a free Odd Eyes Challenger structure deck, so people can really utilize exactly what that Raging Dragon is going to be bringing to the meta. So that's very exciting. Very happy to see that. I'm sure we'll be seeing that in the WCQ as things go on. But let's talk about how the WCQ is going to take place. So I've got written here that it's from the 30th of May to the 12th of June is the qualification period. Is that right, Ibris?
Yeah, that does seem to be correct. And we do have a graphic to back that up, if we can get that on screen.
I'm sure we absolutely can. And we're going to talk to you exactly how people are going to be able to work through during those days to make sure that they're qualified to take part. And also the way the game works, obviously it's very anime-based decks, and we're going to see quite the variety of decks throughout all of that as well, which I think is quite exciting. And we're going to come back and talk about the state of Duel Links in a moment. But like we said, 30th of May to the 12th of June, how do people go about qualifying? We'll obviously show you guys on screen, but talk to us a little bit about the process of how people do it. It's all we're trying to get to duel levels.
Yeah, so very similar to how the previous years have operated, taking part in the in-game event and really playing Duel Links and winning as much as possible.
Simple as that. All you have to do is win, win, win. I believe it works very similarly to how things like KCGT and other events on their work.
Exactly.
But it's bigger, even bigger, because this is the WCQ, which is always very exciting. So let's talk a little bit about the state of Duel Links right now. So the main thing in the meta to talk about is obviously August.
Yeah, so the August coming to the game, of course, with a lot of
intense
power.
Yeah. No, it is quite the deck, and it seems to be sort of similar to how in Master Duel now you have Tearlament. The Duel Link stuff is very much focused around August. We've also got DDD as well, which is quite popular. Heroes, Phantom Knights, and even some other decks like Chronomaly, which I think is quite exciting.
Yeah, and just to tie discussion back to that August deck at the moment that has been really doing well for itself. You see it paired with the likes of the Paradox Brothers in terms of the character that's utilized with it. And as early as turn 1, you can get down a fairly formidable field of sizable monsters and a good amount of disruptions and negates for whatever your opponent tries to do.
It's incredible. So that entire, I still remember when that was available in the TCG, seeing Orcus everywhere. So now that's made its way to Duel Links, and we're going to be seeing a lot of that as we head into the WCQ. And like we said, between the 30th of May and the 12th of June, you guys may well go up quite a lot of Orcus. So you guys can utilize those 1,000 gems and the Dream UR and SR tickets to make sure that you guys are really building those top decks. Like we said, Orcus, which we've discussed, DDD, Heroes, Phantom Knights, Chronomaly. There's so many right now. It's quite a versatile meta, and it's very exciting.
Yeah, and speaking of utilizing the campaign rewards, we have seen a lot of decks utilize that Odd Eyes Raging Dragon. The pendulum mechanic in particular being very, very prominent at the moment really does mean that we're seeing the popular decks in Duel Links start to take shape ahead of the WCS and throughout the qualifiers.
I'm very excited because ever since I started coming on board and doing these kind of events with commentary and hosting, this is my first time I'm ever going to see a World Championship as part of any of these kind of coverage things. So I'm so excited to see exactly what happens through any of these games, through the metas, and just see all of these amazing players from across the globe come together, and we'll see hopefully quite a variety of decks, because sometimes it's nice to have a peppering of some other archetypes, even if something like Orcust is going to be doing a lot of the damage. But I'm sure we'll see some expert play. And speaking of expert play, we've got some expert players. I don't just throw these segues together, Ibris. I know what I'm doing. So, like we said, we have Regibang from Germany, and we have Mangakar from Italy, who are going to be taking part for you guys in a little bit of a exhibition match where we're going to see, was this one a best of 3 or is this a best of 1?
So this is actually going to be a best of 3, utilizing what we hope to see will be 3 different decks for each of the players, and hopefully we get a good idea of what is to come throughout the qualifiers for that WCS.
Almost certainly. So make sure you guys are paying attention to this if you intend to take part in that WCQ season, because it's always going to be important to make sure you're aware of what you're up against. Just a reminder of those dates for any of you Duel Links duelists who are wanting to take part. 30th of May to the 12th of June. Make sure you get in those duels. Make sure you rank up those points and try and get as far as you can. And once you go from there, I believe it goes into a regional qualifier.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
From there it goes forward, right?
Exactly. And once you're through the regional qualifiers, well,
only time will tell. But that's where we may be seeing you on the big stage at WCS, which is always very, very exciting. We hope all of you guys taking part in any of that digital campaign are excited to get there. Maybe one of you watching, maybe it'll be you that we'll see in that grand final up on the stage, because I believe also the top bracket is something like the top 8 or the top 16. They'll also be shown on the WCS as well, right? Heading into the grand final.
yeah, so there will be a lot of games and a good amount of representatives from across the globe coming together on that WCS stage.
Very exciting. So I'm very interested to see what happens there. We do have our 2 duelists coming right up for you. Regibang from Germany and Mangakar from Italy. We're going to be very excited to chat to them and see exactly what they're playing. If you could take a guess at the kind of decks that we're going to be seeing, what would you expect?
Expect, I'm not so sure, but hoping for, I would like to see if either of them could utilize the Odd Eyes Raging Dragon that we see looming behind us.
Now, that would be exciting, because then we're straight in with the card that we're promoting here. Now, we'll be right back after a very quick ad, and we'll be joined by our wonderful creators who are going to take part in this expert duel. Don't go anywhere.
Duel Links 6th anniversary!
You can't do a thing against my creepy crawlers. Here I go. My entire swarm attacks. What? You don't mean Mirror Force? Look at these great presents.
Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links campaign underway!
Ah!
And now we're going to be joined by our wonderful duelists, although we've currently got a full screen. That's someone divided into 2 whole screens right there. That's just how much they mean business with our expert duelers. We'll be right back with more of that once we get that little technical hiccup finished. But there's something I'd like to quickly talk about as well, is I've been making notes about the previous winner of the Duel Links back in 2019. So we're talking a lot of the breaks that we've had. Shuhei Kobayashi of Japan, our last winner, and an absolutely amazing duel. So coming back for the first time in 4 years, being able to finally qualify for this again is very, very exciting. And we can see that right now, live on our screen, we do have our wonderful experts. So we have Regibang from Germany and Mangakar from Italy. Gentlemen, can you hear us? That's a no, but I'm glad I asked. It's always worth double checking. So once we get them hearing us, we'll move on. Gentlemen, give me a wave once you can hear me. That's still not happening, but I'm glad I'm going to continue trying right on camera for everyone to see.
I'm very glad that they have come to join us, though. Regibang and Mangaka, of course, being super prominent players and being very passionate about Duel Links, so it will be really intriguing to see what it is that they have to say heading into this WCQ.
It's always good talking to people who know a lot about these games to see exactly what they're going to be saying. Regibang, Mangakar, can you hear us? Can you give us a wave if you can hear us?
Yeah.
They're nodding. We can hear them. You can hear us. Thank goodness you're here, gentlemen. Guys, how are we doing? Let's go over to Mangakar first. Mangakar, how are you doing?
Very well, thanks.
It's great to have you here. Thank you very much. Now, talk to us a little bit about your Duel Links journey. How long have you been playing Duel Links?
since the day one.
There we
I
go.
was at university and I was really obsessed about Duel Links at the time, so I was like playing every hour of. Yeah.
That's great. That's exactly what we like to hear. So we're excited to see you showing off some of those skills in this upcoming duel.
Excellent. And I would really also like to welcome Reggie Bang to the broadcast. Reggie Bang, how are you?
Hi, I'm very good. Thanks for having me here.
Good. We're very happy to hear from you. And also, could you give us a little bit more context on how you got to playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links?
Yes, of course. I started a bit later. I didn't play since day one, but I started with 5Ds, I think, back in 2017, I think. And I just fell in love with it. It was back when the Ancient Gear structure deck hit the field, and it got me.
Well, there we go. It's always nice to have something that hooks you into these games when you know you can sort of play your favorite archetype, play your favorite deck, and just work your way through things. Hopefully, we're going to be seeing a lot of that for the WCQ. So, gentlemen, something we want to ask you before we get into your duel. Odd Eye's Raging Dragon giveaway. What are your thoughts on that? Mangaka, why don't we go to you? Are you happy to see this card in there?
Yeah, it's always nice when you have this kind of cards in the game. So yeah, I'm happy. I'm really into Dragon, so
Excellent.
we'll see later. But yeah, I'm happy for that.
Perfect. And also over to you, Reggie Bang, as well. Are you happy to see Odd Eye's Raging Dragon in there? Have you utilized him yet?
Yes, of course. I
Excellent.
heard that it's a anime card that got a huge hype, and getting this card in Duel Links for a pretty good archetype, I think that's a huge gain for Duel Links.
A wonderful answer. That's exactly what we want to hear. So we are going to allow our two expert duelists to get started in their best of three. So we'll be back with that in just a moment. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us, though. We're very excited to have both of you here. It's always a pleasure to have people a part of these kind of things while we talk about getting into such an exciting event like the World Championships here. But we're so happy to see exactly how that duel is going to go in mere seconds. So don't worry about it.
How those duels are going to go. We get 3 games between these two very prominent players.
It's very exciting because it's so nice to see that we have these digital formats where you have Duel Links, which is, in fact, both Duel Links and Master Duel are their own beasts in a lot of ways, because when you compare Master Duel to like the TCG, it has such a different Forbidden Limited list. There are cards available that aren't available over in Europe and things, and that's really... It's really exciting to see how that changes the meta and changes the dynamics. And Duel Links having the 20 cards and only being able to play a certain thing, and now the way that's evolved as well over the years, it's just exciting. And also, the game has really evolved since the last Worlds as well, hasn't it? Because we've now got all the kind of different extra deck monsters and things coming in. We have loads of new archetypes, so it's a very different landscape for these games.
Yeah, especially mentioning that extra deck, the Vrains update coming in last September means that we have access to these link monsters, the extra monster zones. Completely different game from the previous years of the World Championships in which this featured. So it'll be really interesting to see, as you mentioned, if the returning players can still make a splash, or if we'll see some brand new players with these brand new decks.
It's honestly anybody's game at this point because it's such an open format where anyone can come in and play things, especially if you guys are fairly competent at working together those 20-card decks and coming up with something that's really quite spicy, or even something that's quite standard for the format. Like we said, those Orcusts, the DDDs, I still like that you can have... It's the skills that I really like that really change. You may have an archetype that maybe has lost favor in some of the TCG kind of formats, but you can bring it back by having things like skills come in. And that's really cool to see. And now seeing things like the Paradox Brothers and people coming in, that's opened so many gates. Gate Guardians. See what I did there? Again, I don't just throw these together, Ibras. It's nice to see exactly what that does for the game. And it means that you can get some really exciting moments.
Yeah, and actually, speaking of skills, I did pick up on when you mentioned the hero decks in particular coming back into prominence, and that does make me want to highlight the fact that you have access to a couple of really cool additions to the Jaden Ubel kind of decks, and that includes the ability to add the super polymerization and really start to control the field from, again, as early as turn 1.
And there you go. That's exactly the kind of thing you see. And when you're limited to only 20 cards, those kind of combos can really fly out in a matter of seconds. And it's all about trying to make sure you've got that perfect balance. And when you're working with 20 instead of 40 plus cards, that really does change the game. And trying to work that in with the extra deck monsters as well, especially now that we've gone into the Vrains with that update, really does kind of shift the game along. Fear not, everyone watching. We are going to be coming back to you with these duelists in just a second when they're ready, but we have to make sure that they all get settled, have their decks chosen, and that we're in there and able to watch so that we can bring you that exhibition match. Also, afterwards, I'm going to talk to you about what we're going to be speaking to our duelists about to get a little bit of their insight, and obviously we're going to talk about that as well, Ibris.
And as you kindly mentioned there, Ed, these duelists will hopefully have their decks settled and get ready to play. And that is where we want to implore you guys at home to also settle your decks and get ready to play in the qualifiers.
Exactly. Again, one more time, I'll give you guys those dates for everyone who wants to know. 30th of May to 12th of June. I'm going to keep saying those until the end of the dueling segment, so all of you know exactly when the WCQ will be over. And remember, right now you can get in there and you can get Odd Eyes Raging Dragon gifted for free to all players. You can get 1,000 gems to really get you started on buying some packs so that you can find the cards that you need. A Dream UR and SR glossy ticket to make sure that you guys can pick a great rarity card of something that you really want. And also the Odd Eyes Challenger structure deck for all of you who take part. So what we're going to be doing after we've had this duel, we're going to sort of talk about the reason behind some of the choices of the decks, talk about obviously the plays that happen in this duel, and we really want to talk about worlds, what we expect to see, how if they've looked at things like Shuhei Kobayashi's win back from the last one. Looking at that, I wrote down here Ishizu, Jaden, Sartorius, Yugi, and Mako were the 5 decks that he was using. So it'll be interesting to see how those ones may or may not be returning this time in WCQ. Because like we said, totally different game, totally different format. And also we kind of want to ask them a little bit of tech ideas, because when it comes to things like Orcust and things, and we'll talk about this in Master Duel later, when it comes to things like Orcust being quite a meta-dominating archetype, you sort of want to ask people who are used to dealing with it, or even used to playing it, how do you deal with these? There's going to be particular cards that are really worth putting in so that you can make sure you can deal with some of the combos, things like that. So we want to hear both of these guys' inputs on what they think that is. Wondering what kind of new characters have been coming out, or any that they've been excited for when those have been coming, because we've had quite a lot recently. We mentioned the Paradox Brothers in my great pun earlier, so we know that those guys are also out. And then finally, we just want to make sure that we ask them for some advice for any of you guys who are going to be doing the WCQ. So very, very shortly, in less than 30 seconds, we are going to be here with the match that you guys need to see. A best of 3 where we see different decks. I can already see that we've got a Yami Yugi deck, so we are going to be seeing some classic cards in this, which is always very exciting. It means not only do we get to see some meta, we get to see some classic cards as well, and get to see some of those summons. So we're going to head on over to that duel to see exactly what's happening in Duel Links. And there we are. You can see the screen over here, because this is how commentary works now. This is exciting. I'm looking forward to seeing exactly how this duel plays out. What would you expect to see Yami Yugi going up against at this point, Ibris?
Seto Kaiba?
I mean, that's what we'd like to see. I guess we'll find out exactly if that is going to be the case. But, I mean, it'd be rude not to see a Yugi versus Yami matchup during this exhibition match.
Yeah, let's see exactly what it is that mangaka chooses to go for here.
I'm always excited to see how these things play out, because one of the things that's always nice to look forward to is the big summon animations. Nothing makes it more exciting than that. I remember one of the first things I ever did with Yu-Gi-Oh! Was the Duel Links Invitational in Paris. And one of the most exciting bits for the crowd and for us was seeing a Blue Eyes come down, or seeing Black Rose Dragon, anything come down, just watching this huge thing. It feels like you're watching the anime while those happen. And that's really exciting. We've seen the click happen. That means we're now heading into this duel.
I was looking at you when the click came through, so I just got the sound prompt, but it was very exciting.
And here we go. Oh, there it is. Oh, so actually, and we've not seen the Yugi deck come out in this first one, but we have seen a Kaiba. So there we go. So we've got Rechi versus Manka 96, as you guys can see in the top. And let's see exactly what happens here with this duel.
It will be Reggie Bang starting this one off.
Okay, we already see Rocket Tracer straight off the bat. Now let's see how many turns it takes for a duel like this to really ramp up when it comes to this kind of content. I love it.
So Rocket always makes me think of Dragon Link, but I'm not sure how Dragon Link is going to go this time around.
I guess we'll see. I guess we'll find out exactly what's going to be happening. These kind of things are always very tense. You've got to think through very quickly in these, because obviously the duel does not last long. You can't really play around too many mistakes in Duel Links because it's so very quick. You run out of resources very fast, and obviously with the 3 different lanes that you're having to go down, definitely makes it slightly more challenging. But we are going to see exactly what we're going to be seeing from Reggie Bang here. You can feel the cogs turning as we stare into these anime protagonist faces.
You certainly can.
Or we can. We have to pretend
We
that
can.
This feels like maybe there's an anime monologue going on in the head of Reggie Bang. He's going, I could play this card.
He could. He could not.
I'm not going to lie. There is also a chance that this is frozen.
Regardless, just thinking about what kind of skills we're expecting to see from Reggie Bang here. Of course, we had the reveal of the Kaiba, but
we'll have to see exactly what skills come up throughout this next one. I believe we're having some technical difficulties with this, unless this is the longest contemplation for a single card play ever. These things happen though, folks. Internet is an unreliable format.
So I do just want to take a step back from the duel while we are waiting to see how this does play out. And I want to highlight again the Odd Eyes Raging Dragon and of course Yuya getting that summoning animation and a lot of cool stuff coming with this campaign.
Now, you did just mention Yuya, which is a perfect segue for me here, Briz, to talk about the giveaway that we are going to be doing. Yes, we have 5 Rescue Rabbits and 5 Arc 5 Yuya pendants. To make sure that you guys know exactly how to take part in those giveaways, make sure to see our Twitter and other socials for more information and to how to apply, and also for the terms and conditions, because we want to make sure each and every one of you has an opportunity to try and get that Rescue Rabbit, which obviously we've got joining on the table in front of us. Not that you can see us. Right now we're staring at the longest anime monologue in animation history. Part of me's wanting to even do it, but I'm not ready for that improv class. I could summon it, but I won't. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do this for everyone watching. But we will be getting them back very, very shortly, and we'll be able to resume with the duels that we've got going on.
Of course, just again highlighting the players that we have here. We have Mangaka representing Italy, we have Reggie Bang from Germany, 2 very storied players and content creators within the Yu-Gi-Oh space.
It's nice to see. I really love the way that we get people from the community involved who are making the content around these games and really bringing it to other members of the community. I think it's really nice to be able to feature those people, bring them on here and show exactly what the WCQ and things are going to be looking like. So that's always nice. It's always pleasant. We've got a little bit of a technical hiccup coming on. We're hearing in our ears. But we will be back with those 2 duelists very, very shortly. So Ibris, talk to me a little bit about the kind of decks that you favor whenever you're playing Duel Links.
So, as you mentioned before, the hero decks just being a lot of fun, explosive monsters hitting the field, and a lot of options there for just establishing a big presence on the field, really resonates with me. That and just, I quite like the voice lines of Jaden.
I've got to be honest. I think my preference with it, especially because it's anime-based stuff, it always sides with Kaiba. I can't not love hearing, you're a third-rate duelist with a 4th-rate deck. That is funny, and I'm always going to like it. So I do like me a Blue Eyes deck, but also I have a Dino DNA. I've got Rex Raptor, and I've got, some of the Hassleberry cards and things in there. Those have always been fun for me to play. As some of you may know who have seen me on any of these streams before, boy, do I love a Dino deck, and so I'm always going to be trying to represent them in Duel Links as long as I can. Will I fare well in the WCQ with them? Only time will tell. So both of our duelists are going to be joining us again very, very shortly. We appreciate all of your guys' patience while we try and get this sorted out so we can bring you some of this content.
So we can confirm that they are in the room,
Mhm.
and hopefully this means that they can get into the duel and we can get into the spectate mode without any further issue.
Correct. And so let me remind all of you guys one more time while we are just waiting for these last moments. The entire thing right now that's happening today as of May 19th is the in-game campaign which has started to make sure you guys get in and you guys can get Odd Eyes Raging Dragon gifted for free, 1,000 gems, a Dream UR and SR glossy ticket, and also a free Odd Eyes Challenger structured deck. And the entire time that you're going to be wanting to play for that WCQ is from the 30th of May to the 12th of June. Those are going to be the period that you guys want to be playing. It's going to be grand if you can just slot in as many points, get those duels going, get your phone out, get your iPad out, get it on Steam, whatever it takes to grind away for that WCS. And we can hear that we are heading back in very, very shortly to our duelists to make sure that you guys can see exactly what to expect during that WCQ. Regibang versus Mangakar, Germany versus Italy, possibly a flavour of the kind of European talent that might be appearing in this WCS. So just in a few more seconds, we'll be right with you. So very, very exciting. Don't go anywhere and make sure you're going to pay attention to how these duels go.
Here we go.
There we go. So we head on in. What's an equip spell? Answer for us, Ibris.
In general, equip spells activate with one monster as the target.
That is correct. These are cards that are equipped to a monster to alter its abilities. There you go, just in case some of you watching weren't aware. Not only are we helping, but so is Duel Links, making sure that you guys are laughing and learning here as we talk about Road to Worlds. Now, this is a slightly alarming... Okay, that hasn't worked, but it doesn't matter. We're going to get it back, and we'll be back very, very shortly with that match. Now, we've seen the Yamayugi deck. We know that we've also seen Kaiba. Who else did we see on there? We've seen, basically, we saw the Rocket deck being played. So we've already seen a handful of the archetypes that we're going to be seeing. So, what else will we see? Will we see Orcus? I'm expecting so, considering the meta.
Potentially, but I'm also really looking forward to, again, seeing Yuya and the Odd Eyes Raging Dragon. Because you mentioned the Odd Eyes Challenger deck being available. It's really interesting to see players combine a couple of those with some of the additional cards from some of the packs to make a formidable Pendulum Dragon deck.
It is interesting to see how people can work this, but we're going to come back to us while we sort out the communication error that seems to be occurring. This is always one of the issues that comes with trying to do sort of cross-national, cross-continental things. Sometimes an internet may not just hold up so that we can get it, but don't worry, we'll be back very, very soon. Basically, you're going to sit and watch Ibris and I talk about Duel Links until we're blue in the face, as blue as the background that we've got here in our lovely studio. But it's always nice to do these. I'm enjoying being able to sit and just refresh myself on the world of Duel Links as well.
Please also take this opportunity to head over to Twitter and enter that giveaway that Ed did kindly mention earlier, the Rescue Rabbit and the Arc 5 Yuya Pendant being available as a bundle. Multiple bundles does mean that there's a lot of cool stuff that we have on offer for you today.
It is always nice to be able to take part in these giveaways, and these Rescue Rabbits, they're not easy to come by. They're almost being sort of like gold dust, these things. People are really enjoying them. We're also seeing them pop up in a couple of different people's backgrounds for their videos when it comes to content and things. So it's exciting. The community really do love it. So grab your chance by the ears to get your hands on one of these, and also rock that pendant as well. Maybe it'll bring you luck in some of those WCQ matches.
Or it'll bring you an Odd Eyes Raging Dragon.
I mean, yeah, do you know what else will get you an Odd Eyes Raging Dragon? Just logging into the game. That's the best bit about this. So make sure you guys watching this, get out your phones. If you've got it installed, great. If you don't, make sure you get Duel Links installed and just get started. Start your Duel Links adventure today. See? Easy. I've basically done a commercial for it.
And actually, just to follow on from that, I do want to say how accessible and approachable Duel Links currently is
Mhm.
for even participating in that qualifier. Again, in part thanks to the Odd Eyes Challenger deck.
So we're just hearing in our ears that we're going to cut back to the game once we've figured out those things, which basically means you're joining Ibriz and I while we fill time and we talk about Duel Links. Luckily, we've been making notes, so there's plenty for us to talk about. So with such a big gap, we've talked about all the different things that have come out since 2019, our last Worlds. It is going to be very interesting to see exactly what happens in the coming format. What deck would you like to see make a comeback? If you could pick any deck that would suddenly start sort of hitting the same level as Orcust, what would you like to see?
I quite enjoyed playing Duel Links at the time when the Fortune Lady deck was pretty solid.
Yeah, I'd say so. A lot of things that were quite popular. Was Shiranui was very popular for a bit. There's basically been a handful of different metas which are always going. But I think I can see right now that we've got Varus versus Kaiba coming up on our screen, which means I believe we've finally got the Duel Links link up working. You could say this duel has been linked. Thank you, I'm here all night. So we are going to be heading on back over to our duelists who are finally ready. Reggie Bang from Germany versus Mangaka96 from Italy. Always nice to see a professional duel happening. And here we go.
Question is, how does this Varus start the duel now?
I guess we're all about to find out. Do we still have the same opening 2-card combo that we had last time? We do. It looks like we do. Rocket Tracer straight away off the bat. Definitely a good start for Varus there. And then we see Boral launch already, setting a card. The Boot Selector launch coming immediately in, getting set there, and then immediately activated.
Yeah, the Rocket and, of course, the Boot Sector launch being such core components of the Dragon Link deck that we mentioned before, really will be interesting to see where this deck does take it.
Little Rocket Dragon coming down. Then we see Magna Rocket Dragon also coming down. And that's a fairly formidable field that we can see there from Reggie Bang. An excellent start, but where's it going to go from here?
Is it going to go into the extra monster zones, perhaps? Are we going to see a Link summon?
I wouldn't be surprised if we did, Ibriz. I imagine that's probably where this is going. Boot Sector launch is definitely... There we go. Here we're seeing something come out. Yeah, we got the link. The link circuit has been established. Look at these animations. I love the way they do this. I love the way it looks. Such an exciting way to play a game that we see play a lot. There's that Booster Dragon coming out. Rocket Tracer's effect. Let's just get Silver Rocket Dragon out. A Boot Selector. Boot Sector. I keep saying Boot Selector. It's not a Craig David song. I've got to make sure that I'm sticking with it.
So, yeah, as we now see the Rocket start to set up, it is a question of whether we see a spell or trap come down defensively from this Varus player for Reggie Bang, or if we just see more established presence in the monster zones.
You're absolutely right, and we have just seen the Silver Rocket effect banish that Blue Eye Spirit Dragon from the game, which is definitely going to be possibly a bit of a hindrance for the Kaiba deck, but let's see exactly what happens. Again, like we've said, building quite a formidable field there, but we're going straight into Mangaka's turn here for Kaiba. Okay, get those cards of consonants coming out. Whitestone of Ancients, you know it's always going to be there at Blue Eyes White Dragon decks. Always exciting. Sage of Visor Blue. These are all cards that I'm so familiar with after playing these exact kind of decks.
And what I really like about the Blue Ice deck is that it plays very well with the graveyard. And, you know, even if
Here it comes.
it's not on the field, but it will be on the field now.
Look at it. Such an excellent animation as we swoop in. The Blue Eyes White Dragon. A powerful engine of destruction. Virtually invincible. But just how invincible is it? We're about to find out.
But as mentioned before, it plays with the graveyard. There is a potential that even if it's not on the field, you have to be afraid. There's a lot of cards that can bring it back out. There's a lot of cards that can help it get back onto the field. And 3,000 attack, even in the era of Link monsters, is still pretty formidable.
I'll go straight into the battle phase there. So we see Blue Eyes swooping straight on in for some damage. Just trying to remove those Link monsters. Getting Booster Dragon off the field. Just to try and prevent any Link climbing from happening. But here we already go. The Booster Dragon effect activating. So that special summon Silver Rocket immediately. So still, you know, even though one of those got removed, that Link monster got removed, still 3 fairly decent monsters, but none of them are as strong as the Blue Eyes. So it'll be interesting to see exactly what happens there. We've got White Stone of Ancients immediately activating effect here. Another Blue Eyes White Dragon. Look at this animation.
Different artwork this time around as well.
Artwork. This is the movie-styled animation. Look at that.
Will be really intriguing to see if we can see all 3 Blue Eyes White Dragons hit the field at the same time.
That would be amazing. But now we pass back over to Reggie Bang. Goodness me, it's amazing how quickly these duels can go with those 4,000 life points. Already down to 2,900 there. We will be seeing exactly what happens from here. But, you know, with a lot of the borals and things, you never know where this duel could go. Anything could happen.
And the thing about Blue Eyes White Dragon is, while it is very, very scary to face down 3,000 attack points twice, still a normal monster. Still just kind of sat there waiting for the play to be made by Reggie Bang, who making a play as we speak.
We got that XC summon coming out. Dark Rebellion XE's Dragon. Okay. So still not got enough attack for now. And then we got Karma Cut. Oh, but then we got Rocket Tracer chaining on to that effect.
Can we stop the banish?
Let's see what happens. No, we cannot. But we do get Silver Rocket Dragon back, so, you know, still has some resources, but... Oh, that White Stone of Legend activating in effect. Was that in the grave? Oh, so that was adding to the hand then.
Yeah, I believe that was a... Was that the discard for Karma Cut that then...
I think so.
Yeah.
And then activating it in the grave, yes. So that means we could be seeing those 3 Blue Eyes White Dragons coming out on the field, Ibris. But still, when you're up against 2, yeah, that's a pretty Seto Kaiba play right there. But I think we're seeing another... We're either seeing a Link or an Xyz here. Oh no, we're going for a Synchro right now.
Got there eventually.
I know. Had to work my way through the various mechanics. God, it's exciting to see these. Dark End Dragon making its way onto the field.
Okay, and this... Oh,
my
more
goodness
removal.
me, a Raigeki break! Now that is what we want to see. 2 Blue Eyes on the field. A Dark End Dragon sent immediately to the grave by that Raigeki destruction there. The Raigeki break destruction, rather. But goodness me, I think by the looks of it, Mangaka may have this in the bag. It's going to take 1 attack to destroy that set monster, and then 1 more vicious swoop from another one of those Blue Eyes. We're seeing White Stone of Ancients again, which means we might well be seeing that 3rd Blue Eyes White Dragon coming out. No, it's just returning to the hand. But does he have a card in hand that's going to get one of those out? I guess we're about to find out.
So I really like this. I like that the Blue Eyes White Dragons are being cycled from the graveyard back to the hand, not only to the field, but also being used as the resource to pay for the Karma Cut, the discard for the Raigeki break. This is really, really cool to see.
Great synergy coming off here from Mangaka. This is a man who clearly knows his Blue Eyes White Dragon deck, but I am excited to see exactly what happens with the next decks that we've got, because by the looks of it, this is a Mangaka victory, so we will be seeing it. I'm hoping the pause that we're seeing is a... Yeah, there we go, an XC summon. Goodness me, what's coming out now? Let's see what he's got in that extra deck to bring this out. Oh. Wow, 46 Draguon. Wow. Oh, I haven't seen that for a while. It's exciting to
Interesting.
see. And then we get another Blue Eyes
Okay.
White Dragon on the field. Specials on 1 Dragon type monster from your hand. So that's that Blue Eyes coming straight out. Pretty formidable. A nice display of some of the things that we're able to see in this current format. The direct attack, and there it is. Mangaka has taken that first round. Varus didn't stand a chance against the mighty Seto Kaiba. Brilliant there. We see Mangaka taking the win. Congratulations, Mangaka. Remember, this is a best of 3. So we still have to see 2 more duels and possibly a couple more different anime characters to find out exactly who the real winner of this entire best of 3 will be. Pretty exciting.
Yeah, very much looking forward to asking Mangaka how he felt about piloting Kaiba and the Blue Eyes deck this time around.
It is always kind of interesting to ask. I mean, whenever you interview someone and talk about a classic deck like Blue Eyes or Dark Magician or Heroes, you're always going to have a similar answer of, why did you pick this deck? Well, because I like it and I grew up watching Yu-Gi-Oh! So I'm always going to love Blue Eyes. I'm always going to love Heroes. I'm always going to love all of these things. But I am excited to see what it's like doing that. I do want to hear what what Reggie Bang's approach to Varus is as well.
And again, I was really intrigued to see that kind of twist on the traditional Blue Eyes deck, where rather than strictly just trying to swarm the field with the Blue Eyes as much as possible, which he kind of did anyway, it was using it as that constant resource and just recycling it time and time again from the graveyard, returning it to the hand, discard again. Very, very cool to see.
I must say that White Stone of Ancients might well have been the sort of MVP card of his deck there. We saw a lot of usage of that, and we definitely saw the appearance of 3 different Blue Eyes White Dragons. 2 were overlaid for Dragluan at the end. So pretty exciting to see all 3 in our first Duel Links duel. Took us a little bit to get there with the technical hiccups, but once we got through that, you got to see 3 Blue Eyes White Dragons in one duel. Where else could you get this other than here at Road to Worlds 2023, where we're just waiting before we can go again into their next round. Remember, they are going to be picking the other decks. We do know, or we believe, that there is a Yami Yugi deck in there based on what we've seen during the waiting room, but that may be a red herring. Maybe we don't see the Yami Yugi deck. Maybe there'll be other things. Will we see Orcust come up in one of these? Probably now the time to use it, especially for Reggie Bang being on the back foot. Probably bring out that meta deck. Can't have any fun here. Got to immediately slap those down and make sure you drive in with the Orcusts and secure the victory. Possibly. Maybe we'll see a mirror matchup as well. So we get to see exactly how one deals with that, which during this WCQ, definitely going to be something that people are seeing a lot.
I mean, Mangaka did tell us that he liked dragons. Were we expecting the Blue Eyes White Dragon Control to come out? Maybe not.
I certainly wasn't expecting that. But like I said, a welcome thing, because it's one of the decks that I did play a lot. Maybe not necessarily the control one, but always nice to have Blue Eyes and always nice to have Kaiba shouting at people.
Speaking of dragons,
Odd Eyes Raging Dragon. You guys can get your hands on Odd Eyes Raging Dragon. 1,000 gems, a glossy Dream UR and Dream SR ticket, and also, of course, a Odd Eyes Raging Dragon structured deck. Right now, if you guys log in to Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links for free, download it now on iOS, download it on Android, and download it on Steam, all for free. Log in today and make sure you guys get your hands on those. And also, make sure you guys head over to the Twitter so you can get your hands on one of these, and also the Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc 5 Yuya pendant. Lots of things going on, plenty to talk about, and obviously it's not just Duel Links we're talking about. Later on we will also be discussing Master Duel and how that is going to be playing out as we qualify for these World Championship seasons.
and it's not just us talking about it, we'll also have some very, very cool guests joining us, not only for the dueling segment. You saw Reggie Bang and Mangaka, a brief snippet of what is to come when we do get a chance to sit with them for longer later on. But we'll also have some very, very interesting guests join us for Master Duel.
We certainly will, and you guys will see them very, very shortly. Obviously, we mentioned earlier we have Farfa and the team, the 2 different teams for the 3v3. Farfa and his 2 compadres, and also Zulu and his 2 compadres. Team Farfa versus Team Zulu. Team UK versus Team France. Who will win? Well, first we have to find out who's going to win between Germany and Italy. And right now we're hoping that we're going to be able to bring you guys our second duel in our Duel Links showcase, which is always very exciting. We always want to know what you guys are playing in Duel Links right now. Let us know in the chat if you guys are watching at home exactly what kind of decks you guys are running, which characters you're preferring and why, whether you're playing in the competitive kind of scene or whether you're just playing with friends for fun. Anything that you can do is always exciting. Right now, we're just trying to get our two duelists ready for you because things sometimes go a little awry with communicating across continents. It happens. So once we get that sorted out and can bring you this duel, we'll jump straight back in. So what was the last time you played, or I've seen you playing a bit of Duel Links fairly recently, but did you take part in things like the KCGT? Will we be seeing you taking part in the WCQ?
You might see me take part in the WCQ. I will probably just be playing Fortune Lady again, but I'd also like to try out the Odd Eyes Raging Dragon and that Odd Eyes Challenger deck that you mentioned before.
A good promotion there. We've got to make sure that we talk about that because that is a very exciting addition. Lots of people very happy to see that Arc 5 card and the deck to support it coming back in. I might try my hand at the Duel Links WCQ. We'll see. How far can I take dinosaurs across every conceivable format of the Yu-Gi-Oh game? We'll find out by seeing if I'm there on that stage when the WCS rolls around. It's highly unlikely, but it's worth a try. I'm always happy to try.
Will be really interesting to see which decks you end up playing against and which decks Regibang and Mangaka end up picking in our next duel.
It certainly is, and that room is just being created, which means we'll be able to bring it to you very soon. But like I said, I was talking about some of the other decks that we're seeing. We've talked about Heroes. You obviously like playing Heroes. We've talked about Phantom Knights as well, one that we definitely saw during the KCGT, which was at the end of last year. But then also DDD, nice to see that having its comeback. I was very excited to see decks like Chronomaly coming through, and a couple of others that were slightly rogue choices with cards that maybe have been featured in an anime, a little bit underloved, finally coming back, because what a dynamic and exciting format this is. And speaking of dynamic and exciting, it's time to bring you guys straight into our next duel. I don't just throw these segues together, Ibras.
So Kaiba.
Seto Kaiba versus Yugi Moto in that beautiful cathedral setting.
Very interesting. And actually, I would like to introduce this just by saying that the last time we saw Yugi really become the single most popular character in Duel Links was when the skill came forward for him where you could easily have access to the Gandora Giga Ray of Destruction, and yeah, definitely a very scary prospect if that will be the skill that is taken with this Yugi.
You're right, Gandora, especially during the KCGT, a very, very popular deck to see, and one that was coming out a lot. It's very exciting to see. And here we straight off the bat into a lovely Blue Eyes White Dragon animation, a thematically appropriate one for the background that we've got for this epic match-off. Mangaka playing as Kaiba once again, and Regibang playing as Yugi there. We're going to see exactly what goes on in this, but that's an immediately threatening field set up by Mangaka. So now we head over to Regibang to see exactly what kind of moves we're going to be seeing. Are we going to get straight into that Dark Magician, throw on some equips, or is this going to be a Gandora? Scrap Recycler straight off the bat.
Okay, so Scrap Recycler means that this may very well actually be Orcust.
Wow, okay. Yeah, it is. Look, Orcust Nightmare's gone to the graveyards.
Okay.
This is it.
Yeah,
We're
so
seeing Orcust.
Harp Horror and
That's the determination to fight. So you can return one card to the deck to then add Gandora of Destruction. So this is an Orcust Gandora hybrid.
I like it.
No, I love this. This is a perfect display of what Yugi Moto's character can do. We've seen that August Nightmare activate the effect. Here we go.
Is he going to defeat the self-proclaimed Master of Dragons with a deck fundamentally built around a dragon?
Well, I guess we're about to find out. I've got to say, I've always loved the designs of Orcusts. I think the idea behind their character art is very cool, and I love the way they look. Harp Horror looks incredible.
Dingesu, the Orcus of the Evening Star as
Dingesu
well,
is
just
gorgeous.
being really a key part of the archetype, the deck. We should be seeing it as kind of the middle point in the combo here. Not quite yet. We'll see a Link summoned first, but maybe afterwards.
So we've gone into Galatea there.
Yeah, Galatea, the Orcust Automaton, of course, being that step before the Dingesu.
Heading straight in. Orchestrated Return being set. So what we're seeing here, it seems to be a reasonably staple combo for Orcust, but like we said, we've already seen Gandora in there as well. So let's see, let's let him cook, Ibris. Let's see exactly how Regibang is going to handle this. Okay, we're seeing that target there. Here we go.
Dingesu.
It's got to be. There it is. Dingirsu coming straight out there.
The Dingesu isn't actually the final piece of this combo typically, by the way, so we'll see if Regibang chooses to continue to extend the plays. He got rid of the Blue Eyes White Dragon.
I was about to say he managed to clear that field. He didn't have the attack power to get over it, but what he can do is he can use that Dingirsu's effect to send that card that he controls to the graveyard. And obviously, Blue Eyes being a normal monster with no spells or traps being set, that was always going to go pretty well there. With only 1,400 life points left, let's see exactly how Mangaka manages to deal with this. So we're seeing a set card go away. Now we've seen things like Raigeki break, so this could be anything at this point. So with the Dingirsu effect, we're going to see what happens here with Regibang. This could be a clear up from Regibang here.
Would be interesting. We would have a very decisive game 3 on our hands.
That's always nice. Always nice to try and take it to 3 games. The determination to fight coming back out. It's really cool to be able to use these skills through these duels. So returning card to the deck. There's that Gandora, Giga Ray's Gandora, the Dragon of Destruction.
And that card is such a game changer
It really
for
is.
any time that you're able to summon it.
It's definitely a menace for anyone who's having that summoned up against, you know.
I mean, same could also be said for Dingirsu, the Orcus of the
kidding.
Evening Star. So definitely a lot of good options here for Regibang.
There we go! Giga Ray's Gandora, the Dragon of Destruction, immediately out with 300 attack points. That's a game changer. And we've got Orchestrated Return. So there's cost. Got the draws coming out as well. So decreasing the life points there. To activate Giga Ray's Gandora's effect.
Interesting.
There we go. It's banished all of those cards with that effect. And the direct attack. And that is it! So that means we will now be heading into a Game 3. Kaiba can never win against Yugi. That's just the thing. It'll always be a Yugi win, especially if in the Duel Links meta he's currently playing an Orcus deck. Something you don't really see. But I'm excited that we got to see that, because that was a deck I love versus a deck that's very relevant now. A fan favorite versus a meta favorite. You can't ask for more than that.
I was also very intrigued to see the choice of using Yugi with that skill to support the Giga Ray's Gandora of Destruction.
Mm-hmm.
And managing to fit the Orcus deck around that was very, very cool.
It was, and actually, I wasn't really sure what I was expecting, but I'm really happy that we got to see Orcust be displayed in such an amazing way. And seeing Dingirsu come out and using it to get rid of a Blue Eyes White Dragon, that's such a great example of why that deck is so fearsome. It's so versatile, it's got such a good combo. And if you combine that with Gandora, that's amazing to witness. And I know that it's not the only sort of spicy combo that we've seen of the Orcus decks. People have been combining it with all sorts of different things, different strats, which actually makes it quite exciting because you're not just seeing the same 20 cards every time. You're seeing people really mix it up. And I think that's something that Duel Links really lends itself to. It's being able to experiment with the shorter range of battle and fewer turns and things, and having fewer things that you can play. You've really got to think, and you've got to kind of be as creative as you can with deck building.
Yeah, and speaking of being creative with your deck building and seeing a lot of different things, in that WCS qualifying period, we can expect to see so many different decks and character choices really start to shine through.
You absolutely can. A reminder for when that period is. You've heard me say it a few times. Can you remember it? Well, it's the 30th of May to the 12th of June, Ibris. And that is exactly when all of you watching at home, the Duel Links duelists, are going to be able to try and qualify for that regional qualifier to help then move you further towards getting into that World Championship Series match. Very exciting to see what happens. And we wish you the best of luck from here because it will be interesting. But we're going to be able to talk to you more about that, and we're obviously going to be asking the two duelists about it after their duel, try and see if they're going to be taking part. I imagine they will. They've been two very happy duelists to come and be a part of this, but will we see them go all the way?
Will we? That will indeed be the case. Question, rather. But I would also like to just say, if you have yet to decide on a deck at home to bring to these qualifiers, you have time to maybe make a decision based on what we see tonight. But also,
why not log in and get the Odd Eyes Raging Dragon deck? Let's go look at some more duels. Oh, another Seto Kaiba versus Yugi Moto. Okay. God, I love this cathedral setting as well for this duel. It just works. It just looks great. And what a fated way of doing it again. Basically, it's a similar setup to what we had last time.
Different skill for the Yugi Moto.
Really? Also, it might not be the Gandora Orcus this time. Maybe we're seeing a Dark Magician. Cards of Consonance. Oh, well, we've seen that the egg's gone in, or the white stone, rather. So that means... Is that white stone or white egg? I always forget. But either way, it's gone into the grave, which means we are going to see that effect. White Stone of Ancients has been summoned. Now there's another one in the graves. That means that on 2 different turns, we are going to be able to get a Blue Eyes. There we go.
Okay.
Straight out. We're going to be able to use those on different times to get those resources together so that that Blue Eyes can basically flood that field. There it is. We've got to see that in every single one of our Duel Links duels. I'm happy with that. The fact that we get to see such iconic cards. Another one! Another one.
Will we see a third?
Will we see a third on this first turn? I mean, that would be a very Seto Kaiba play.
Okay, actually, I feel quite bad for asking that. I saw 2, and I was like, okay, Mangaka, you've shown us 2 before. Can you give us 3 in one turn?
Can you give us the third White Stone of Ages? There it is! Another Blue Eyes! There it is! He's got the whole Blue Eyes field. He's got the whole world in his hands.
Let's see what happens here. It's actually a Dark Magician deck now,
It is
by
the
the
Dark
way.
Magician deck. This is a classic matchup. And look straight away! Dark Magician! We've got a Dark Magician, the classic alternate art. Oh, my God, I love these summons. The classic art there with that prismatic effect. Here it comes.
But can we see 3 Dark Magicians?
Will it matter at this point? The Dark Magic Circle there. It's going to activate the effect, and it's banished one of the Blue Eyes. We had 3 on the field, but 1 is now gone. Set a couple of cards there. That's a vicious-looking spell and trap row there. I mean, let's see exactly what happens from here.
Tale as old as time, though, with the 2,500 attack points of the Dark Magician being unable to match up to the Blue Eyes White Dragon. these spell and traps are going to be super crucial to see if Regibang can compensate for that 500 discrepancy.
They certainly are, and it's kind of important. It's imperative at this point to make sure that you can stay above a 3,000 attack monster like the Blue Eyes. But we managed to remove one, so credit where credit's due there.
We
got Twin Burst Dragon coming out. I mean, it's still got more, and then we got White Stone of Ancients. That means we're going to get the Blue Eyes back to the hand.
Okay. This is similar to the strategy that we saw in Game 1, where mangaka just continued to recycle those Blue Eyes White Dragons, discard. Here's a new one, though.
Oh, look at this. This is the first time I've seen this summon animation. The Blue Eyes Alternative Dragon. Oh, look at it. Blue Eyes Alternative White Dragon. All you have to do is reveal one of the Blue Eyes in hand, and that one comes down. And that is looking like a formidable field. But then also the effect's been activated. And here we go. Quick Spade, the Secrets of the Dark Magician is coming out. But is that going to be enough at this point? Fusion summon one fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters in your hand or field, including Dark Magician or Dark Magician Girl as fusion material. So what are we going to see from here? That's 2 Dark Magicians going to the grave. The Dark Magician's coming out. 2,800, so definitely closing the gap. We're probably going to see the effect go here. You can feel the tension. There's a Blue Eyes Twin Burst on the field. That's a 2-headed Blue Eyes. And then you've got Blue Eyes Alternative White Dragon. Basically 3 heads. But can 3 heads beat 2 Dark Magicians? The Dark Magicians, no less. We're about to find out.
There are also 2 further face-down spell or traps to account for here on the side of Regibang, and I think that's where mangaka's maybe having a couple more reservations.
Possibly, but here we go. The Sedge Eyes of Blues. We're obviously going to start seeing a combo make its way through here. We've got the White Stone of Ancients coming out, which means that's probably going to come down onto the field and help out get that Blue Eyes White Dragon, which we know is in hand. And there it is, compulsory evacuation device. That's going to get rid of that Blue Eyes Alternative Dragon, although it's probably going to come back because he has a Blue Eyes White Dragon in hand. So here we go. We're going to see something happen here.
Yeah, of course, that Blue Eyes Alternative White Dragon being once per turn means that it's removed now and won't come back until the next one. But can we deal with the remaining monsters here? Signs point to not very likely, as the Dark Magicians are now removed from the field.
They are, but the Dark Magician is coming back. So there's still some defenses. That's the alternative art one as well there. And then we've got Dark Magician Girl coming back as well, which is now stronger than Dark Magician.
What is the last face down?
The last face down on
the Regibang's final face down spell and trap.
He doesn't have a final face down spell trap, does he?
Oh no, he doesn't.
That's his extra deck.
That is his extra.
I was going, where are you looking?
Oh.
Okay, that's not looking good for Regibang.
It's not.
I don't think you can deal with a deck as fluid as the Blue Eyes deck. When you've got the ability to just show a Blue Eyes White Dragon in hand and get an alternative White Dragon out, which can then do all kinds of things. You can target one monster and just destroy it. Although it can't attack when that happens, so obviously you remove that ability to just sort of wipe out the life points. But when you've already got a Twin Burst Dragon out, it doesn't really matter. Magician's Magic.
Okay.
If you control Dark Magician, you can add 1 Secrets of Dark Magician from your deck or graveyard to your hand.
And Secrets of Dark Magic was what enabled Regibang to get over that fairly formidable field of the multiple Blue Eyes White Dragons earlier.
We're seeing Apprentice Illusion Magician come out of the special effect, discarding Secrets of Dark Magic, the card which we've just got back. Oh, and their Karma Cut.
Okay.
Okay, this is looking like mangaka has managed to secure this victory here. But we'll see. It's not over until the Dark Magician sings.
Secrets of Dark Magic.
There we go. So we're fusion summoning a monster. This might just help prevent the life point discrepancy if we can just get back another The Dark Magicians. Is this another one? Is this the second copy? Yes, it is. The Dark Magicians coming out. So it's just closing the gap a little bit more with those life points to really prevent the major damage from being done. We've got another card being set there, so it'll be interesting to see what happens. But 2,800 damage done! Running over that Sage with Eyes of Blue. That's very exciting, but White Stone of Ancients will activate its effect, so we are going to see Blue Eyes come back, or Dragon Spirit of White in this case.
Yeah, unfortunately, 2,800, whilst a great deal, is not 4,000, and as such, Reggae Bang may be still going to struggle here. Book of Moon being removed.
Oh, that was off Dragon Spirit of White. So that might be the nail in the coffin here. Oh, and that's a reveal of Blue Eyes, which means we're going to see another Blue Eyes alternative. I keep calling it Ultimate Alternative. Blue Eyes Alternative White Dragon. That is a formidable field. And by the looks of it, a victory there for Mangaka on... Well, yep, no, there it is. And then that's... Look at that. Look at that amazing amount of life point damage.
Still going.
Still going. It's basically ready at this point. Ultimate Dragons. Oh, this is another alternative White Dragon coming out. Oh no, are we going to see a Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon? We are! There's no way. Are we really seeing this kind of showing off happening in the final moments of the game with the polymerization coming down?
To be fair, after overcoming a really unfortunate game 2 for Mangaka,
There it is!
he deserves it.
Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon! We actually get to see the animation. Look at this! Oh, wow. Now that is what you want to see. What a way to take this duel in style. Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon hitting the field. Really, frankly, overkill for only 3,400 life points, but what a way to end. Now that is exceptional play. I am happy with what we've just seen here in terms of a pure display. Obviously, I'm not necessarily happy for someone losing a game, obviously. What I am happy for is that not only have we seen Blue Eyes in triples, not only have we seen Dark Magicians coming out, but we got to see an entire duel finished with the Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon attacking for game. That's exciting.
And I'm sure we're going to ask him this question in just a little bit, but which deck do you think Mangaka is going to run with throughout the qualifiers period?
That had good synergy. We did watch it go into a game 3, but that was because of that Gandora Orcust, and it just couldn't quite get over that. But maybe that was luck of the draw. Maybe it wasn't heart of the cards quite as it needs to be. But I actually still think that despite Orcust having the synergy that it does and the effects that it does, those Blue Eyes decks are always quite reliable. And so you can, get some pretty good things off when you've got a Twin Burst Dragon out so you can attack multiple things. When you've got the Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon, when you've got alternative White Dragons, Dragon Spirit of White, and then you've got all the White Stone of Ancients. Like, you have so many ways of getting into these combos at all times. And with only 20 cards, you're almost always in a position where you can do that. Now, we've got our duelists over on that side. They're going to be coming and joining us in just a moment. But fear not, we will be having them here with you in any moment now. And it'll be nice to ask them a bunch of questions. We'll be able to talk about not only the upcoming format or things like that, but we'll be able to talk about the duel we just saw and why they picked the things that they picked.
Exactly. The games that they've just played, a couple more questions about their experiences with Duel Links throughout the past few years, and hopefully give you guys at home a lot of insight as to how you can take part in these qualifiers.
It really does feel like you're in an episode of the show when you watch a duel like that happen, where you get to see 3 Blue Eyes White Dragon animations, Dark Magician animations. I'm really happy that we got to see what we saw today. That was exciting. That was fun. And by the looks of it, our duelists are almost ready to come and join us for a quick chat. Both of these expert players are ready on our screens. So we're going to talk to them a little bit about Worlds and obviously a little bit about the wonderful duel you just saw. But it's going to be very, very exciting to see exactly what they thought of that. And also, I want to know what they're going to be spending their UR and SR dream tickets on when this promotion campaign is kicking off for everyone as of today. Very exciting. But we appreciate all of you guys holding on while we just get our duelists ready for a quick post-match chat. Now we're going to hear the full insights of what you can expect from these 2 expert players as we get into this duel. So we're going to hand over immediately to these guys. Mangaka, Reggie Bang, hello again. Thank you so much for joining us. Here we are. You guys, thank you for your patience, and thank you very much for coming. It's so nice to have you guys here. And what a duel. Let's talk about the games that we saw. We saw some exciting decks. Now, Mangaka, we saw a lot of Seto Kaiba coming from you.
Yeah.
I'm guessing this is a favorite of yours then.
Yeah. From day one of Yu-Gi-Oh! Card game in Italy, like my first structure deck was the Kaiba one. And
Right.
from that day, I was like linked to Blue Eyes White Dragon.
Yeah, that's the lifeblood of your duel
Yeah,
links career.
exactly,
You know?
exactly.
That's exciting. It was really nice to see. And the thing I wanted to ask about briefly was in that last game, did you summon that Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon just to show off?
Yeah, just to show off my Kaiba.
Do you know what?
Yeah.
It was perfect for the character that you had. Everything about it was spot on. So thank you for doing that. A great display. And we got to see you bring out not Dark Magician. That was your opponent. We got to see you bring out Blue Eyes. 3 of them on the field and fuse together. It was super exciting.
And speaking of his opponent, Reggie Bang, I have some questions for you.
Yes, of course.
You had multiple very, very cool decks to see, but I did just want to talk about your Game 2 selection because we saw the Yu-Gi-Moto paired with the Orcus deck. Could you tell me a bit more about that choice?
It's one of the more meta-ish variants of the decks I played today. It's the Gendora variant of Orcust. So you have like 3 big variants of this deck, and that was one of them. And that's the one I enjoyed the most playing.
I mean, we got to see exactly what that deck is capable of with those big banishing of the field. It's really effective, and you had so much synergy. A lot of the sort of back and forth from the grave and things. You really knew what you were doing with that. So have you been testing that a lot? And also, have you tried testing any of the other Orcust variants at all?
So I tested the Gendora variant, as you've seen. So that's the one I had the most expertise on. There's also the pure variant of Orcust, but I don't enjoy playing this deck because it's not my playing style.
Mm-hmm.
And there's also the Crystal Beast variant, but I didn't test that yet.
But do you think you'll give it a try, but possibly stick with the Gandora variant?
I will probably stick with the Gendora variant, yes.
I mean, it served you incredibly well during that, and it was exciting to see. So that was a very exciting duel to watch, all 3 of those. And thank you also, both of you, for picking such fun decks for us to watch. The Dark Magician decks, the Blue Eyes decks, those are great to watch, and also for showing off exactly what we're going to see in the meta. But I want to talk about the meta a little bit and what we're going to see as we get into these qualifiers and also into the World Champs later on. So other than Orcust, what decks are you guys typically playing, and what decks are you seeing? What do you think people will be seeing as we go into these qualifiers? Why don't we go over to Mangaka first? Why didn't you answer for us?
I think we're going to see a lot of DDD, and I hope for the Elemental Hero to have a big rock solid,
presence,
you know?
absolutely.
Yeah, a big presence.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see, because we were talking about all of those as well, and I was also saying that there's a couple of slightly rogue decks. The one I wrote down on here was Chronomaly coming out. So a lot of these decks that you typically don't see a lot, but they're really coming into prominence as something quite rogue and interesting. So coming over to you as well, Reggie Bang, what are your thoughts on the kind of decks that maybe other decks that you're playing and decks that you're finding you're going up against quite a lot?
As Mangaka said, Triple D is a variant that you will see at the qualification phase for sure. But there's also the newly released Odd Eyes support, and we also have the new structure deck. So I think that's also a deck we have to see if it's good in the current meta. But I think it has a lot of potential.
Absolutely. So something I'd like to ask about, obviously Orcust, we know that's going to appear a lot.
Yeah.
How do you guys prepare for an Orcust mirror match? What do you think's the best way to approach that? We'll go to Mangakar first. How do you think people who are maybe going to run it during WCQ should approach it?
Yeah, I only have my big dragon, so
That's all you-
I hope that
That's all you need
enough.
to care about.
That-
Just
that-
get
that-
out Big
that's a
Dragon.
question for Reggie. Yeah.
I mean, that's good advice. That's solid advice. You don't always have to play a completely on-brand meta deck. If you've got a big dragon with 4,500 attack, it'll get over everything that Orcust does. I think that's pretty good. Reggie Bang, what about yourself? How do you think people should approach going for the Orcust mirror match, which we're quite likely to see?
So I think a lot of people right now they're opting to play some Lancias in their main deck. But as most people do that already, the Orcust players know what is going to happen in the future turns, so they can prepare for some Lancia plays.
That is true. So the thing I'd be interested to know, you're pointing at me, Ibris. That means you've got something to ask.
It was more just the fact that we are talking about Orcust, and I do have the opportunity to ask Reggie Bang now.
Okay.
The Dingirsu, the Orcust of the Evening Star, of course, a very key component of that deck, of those combos. Typically not the kind of end point of those combos for the Orcust deck. You chose to finish your first turn with that. Was there a particular reason behind this?
Not really, but I didn't have any Orcust card in my hand to activate my spell card, so I was kind of forced to do that.
In an ideal situation, had you had these cards, what would the kind of ideal Orcust final field be?
With the Gandora variant, you certainly want to have a access to one of your hand traps, like how's it called? The princess, the skeleton princess, and the Kite-Droid. And then the Orcust variant, you pretty much want the trap. You also have access to the trap card, the Orcust trap, so you can cycle the Dingirsu in the opponent's turn, and that would be an ideal scenario.
I mean, that's exciting. But it even shows how skilled you were with that deck and that you didn't even have to have the perfect hand for the follow-up. You managed to get that Dingirsu out, clear a field of some quite heavy hitters, and still managed to go in and take that second round. That Gandora doing an awful lot of the heavy lifting with the banishing. It was just very exciting. And something we'd also like to ask is, what cards do you think, because especially right now, as we've mentioned a couple of times, not only can people get Odd Eyes, Raging Dragon, and 1,000 gems, they can also get a Dream SR and UR glossy ticket right now. What do you guys think is a good choice to be spending those on if people are wanting to do well in this? Reggie Giggers, let's go for you.
Well, there's of course the already known staples, Cosmic Cyclone, Mystical Space Typhoon, things like that. You can never do, or cards like that, you can never do something wrong with this. But if you want to do something more meta specific, I would recommend maybe some Lanciers or even DD Crows if you're missing them. That would be nice tech cards for the current meta.
That's probably smart, and we'll come over to Mangakar as well. Anything you'd like, or are you going to be spending yours on a really good rarity Blue Eye?
No, I need to find the Ice Dragon's prison, so I'm gonna spend all my gems on that, and yeah, I need to find 2 of them. So it's like it's gonna take a lot.
It's gonna take some time, but you'll get them, and that's the perfect time to get those right now. So, guys, we're gonna bring these to a close, but something we'd like to ask is, do you guys have any advice for some of our players who maybe have stepped away from the game, are thinking of coming back, or some players who are considering really going for this WCQ? What advice would you give to them? So we'll come to Mangakar first.
Yeah, right now it's like great time to come back to play Duel Links because you have a lot of gifts. So like play a lot, and that's the most important thing, because the more you play, the more you are awarded with prize on the game. So it's better to play.
Great advice. Thank you very much, Manga. And we appreciate you coming in and doing this duel for us. Thank you so much. And Reggie Bang, over to you. Any advice that you have for our players?
Yes, you should start playtesting early on. The more you play, the better you get at the game, and the more routine you have. And of course, always try to keep a positive attitude and a positive mindset. If things don't go good or don't go well, maybe take a break for some minutes or half an hour, and then continue the grind.
That's
And
wonderful.
yeah,
Great advice, guys. Thank you so much to both of our wonderful expert
Thank you.
duelists, Mangakar and Reggie Bang. We really appreciate this. And we wonder where we'll see you guys from the 30th of May to the 12th of June as we have that World Championship qualifier. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for joining us.
Thank you.
We really appreciate it. And best of luck with your qualifiers. We'll see you
Thank
guys
you.
very soon. But yeah, guys, don't go anywhere because now that we've had our wonderful Duel Links segment, we are going to have a little bit of an intermission. And we're going to come back with obviously our other digital title, Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel. But I'm really happy with what we got to see for Duel Links. Not only have we got to talk about some of the things that you're likely to see, obviously Orcus, DDD, Hero, things we've talked about already being confirmed by our experts. We got to see the classic cards come out today. We got to see some of the purest animations.
And we had the opportunity to get some advice from some of the best players in the region. So that's also pretty good, I'd say.
I'd say so. I'd say we're happy with this, and we appreciate all of you guys for your patience while Ibris and I have had to fill for a couple of moments while we're trying to just make sure we bridge that connection. But we've managed to talk quite a lot about Duel Links, so we appreciate all of you guys sticking around. Don't go anywhere, because after a short break, we're going to be back, and we're going to have Team Farfa versus Team Zulu in Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel, and we're going to be talking about everything that you can expect for that World Championship qualifier. Do not go anywhere. We'll be back soon.
Game on, world. Another game, world?
Back for the first time in 4 years, the best duelist in the world will be decided. Yu-Gi-Oh! World Championship 2023. 2 digital titles are available from this year onward. The definitive strategic digital card game, Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel. The PC and mobile game that lets you battle with legendary duelists, Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links. Participate in the qualifiers and battle your way to the World Championship. Campaign underway.
Welcome back, duelists. You are now joining us here at the Road to Worlds 2023 campaign celebration. We've just been talking about Duel Links for a little bit, Ibris, but now we're going to be talking about Master Duel. Thank you so much for joining us, by the way. My name is Ed Templar, and I'm joined by Ibris Dyer. We're going to be taking you guys through everything that you need to know about the World Championship qualifiers heading towards the World Championship Series later on this year in our digital titles.
And of course, this is the first World Championship that Master Duel will be a part of, so it'll be really intriguing to see where the game goes from here.
Absolutely. And as we were saying earlier, there's always something exciting about these digital titles because they operate in their own world compared to things like the TCG. Different Forbidden and Limited lists, entirely different formats. We get to see a different landscape, a different meta, and just some really amazing decks coming through. And it's going to be very exciting to see exactly what we're going to see in Master Duel.
And it's those perspectives on the different landscapes, the different kind of cards that we expect to see, how these players adapt to that constantly changing kind of environment. And that's where we're going to ask for some expert help today from 2 very prominent influencers.
We certainly are. We have Farfa from the UK and we have Zulu from France, both of them taking part in a little exhibition match for you guys in the 3v3 format. And we're going to be very excited to see exactly how that goes and the decks that they'll be playing.
And you may be thinking, 3v3? Yes, it will be a team battle. That will be the format of the duels at the World Championship. And as such, to reflect that, Farfa and Zulu will be bringing 2 hand-selected teammates on either side.
And are we doing a best of 1 in this because there's 3 of them, or is it still a best of 3 despite it being teams?
It's a best of 1 between selected duelists. I believe Farfa and Zulu have kind of identified each other as the opponent they want to face, so we will build to that throughout this evening's broadcast.
Fantastic. So you guys really get to see quite a lot of Master Duel content as we go through this. But like we said, we're very happy for all of you guys to be joining us here because what we have is some very important information. So as you said, Ibris, the first time that Master Duel has ever been included in the World Championships ever since it was released last year in 2022. But before we talk about exactly what the World Championship qualifiers goes on, there's some promotions going on in Master Duel, aren't there?
Yes, there are. Regarding the World Championship qualifiers themselves, there is a fantastic celebration campaign for you to take part in. Ed, do you want to go into detail as to just which kind of rewards the audience can look to receive?
I certainly can. So if you guys do log in now, you guys can get 1,000 gems for you guys to spend on some packs. You can get an icon of Blackwing Full Armor Master, and also you can get a Royal Finish Blackwing Full Armor Master. This gorgeous card that you can see behind us. Amazing artwork. And also, that's not all.
Yeah, that card actually would accentuate a deck that is now available for purchase in the in-game Master Duel store, Blackwing's Pride, really amping up one of the most prolific fan favorite archetypes and really bringing Blackwings back to the forefront of everybody's minds as a legitimate contender in the World Championship qualifiers.
And there you go. A very eloquent way of saying use those gems that you can get by logging in right now to go in and see exactly what is going to be happening in there. So let's talk about how people qualify, Ibris, because as we know, now is the time for people to be gaining those points, gaining those levels. And for those of you who have actually been taking part possibly already, you'll know that from May 16th to May 29th is the first stage. Ibris, tell us more.
Yeah, so the first stage is actually open throughout the entire duration of the World Championship qualifiers, where you are playing to climb to Duelist level 20. Once you hit Duelist level 20, from I believe the 26th.
Correct, 26th to 29th.
Through the end of that campaign, you'll be eligible to take part in the regional qualifiers.
Absolutely.
And the best duelist there will...
Well, the top one, the first and second players that are in areas A, C, and E will be able to go straight in to that WCS, which is very exciting.
For more information on where A, C, and E correspond to, please check your in-game notification available now.
So you guys can also see that over on the Twitter as well. The official Master Duel Twitter has tweeted a lot of this information out. May 16th to May 29th is your first stage, and May 26th to 29th, a little bit of an overlap at the end, is that regional qualifier.
And speaking of Twitter, we do have a pretty fantastic set of giveaways on offer at the moment. Ed?
We certainly do. So, as you can see in front of us, we have the wonderful Rescue Rabbit plush, one of the most sought-after items by the Yu-Gi-Oh! Community. And on top of that, we have an Arc 5 Yuya pendant, which you guys can also get. We have 5 of those to give away. Will you be one of the lucky duelists who takes it home? Haha! Head over to the Twitter and find out. So, we have a little bit more to talk about as well. We'll quickly go over the state of this Master Duel before we then head over to Farfa and Zulu's amazing duel. And we're very excited to bring you guys that. Hopefully the technical issues that we have with Duel Links will be sorted out with this and we could just get straight into some dueling action. But we've got the meta right now in Master Duel, as those of you who play it know, is very much Tearlaments. Tearlaments is very much dominating that format. But we also have Flew Under Ease and Exosister, which are both answers for it. But Dinomorphia, you're a big fan of. Quickly tell us about that before we head over to our duel.
I am playing quite a bit of Dinomorphia, and honestly, it is a lot of fun just seeing how you can get the counter traps, the negates, and of course, getting out Dinomorphia Rex term is always super fun. Just being able to deny monster effects on your opponent's side of the field. But I could go into depth about Dinomorphia all evening, but it seems like we have a couple of guests that want to take part and share their perspective.
It certainly does. So we'll talk more about this, I'm sure, as we have to fill some time at various bits. And we'll go into detail about your Dinomorphia love, Ibris, don't you worry. But as we can say, we have both Farfa and Zulu who are ready to take part in a wonderful exhibition match for you guys. So we're going to welcome them in and we're going to say a quick little hello to them and welcome them into our Road to Worlds celebration here. And so it'll be exciting to see what happens. Gentlemen, hello. Can you both hear us? Give us a wave if you can hear us. Hello, guys. Can you? Okay, now they can hear us. There's some nodding going on. Okay.
Hi.
Hi, how are you guys doing? There we go. Now you guys are live with us. Look at that. Glorious. Farfa might have frozen a little bit, but it's fine. We'll fix that. Guys, welcome, welcome. Zulu, let's come over to you first. How are you doing? Are you well?
Yeah. I'm feel good, and I'm really excited to play.
That's what we want to hear.
And Farfa, are you equally as excited to play?
I'm over the moon, dude. I can't wait. I have been blessed and honored with the presence of Zulu many times before, and I'm glad to hash this out in a little match here.
Because last time we saw you two in the same room together would have been at the Master Duel Invitational that wasn't long ago, and a very exciting event. And we're very happy to see that you guys are back here duking it out, a little exhibition match as we head into the World Championship qualifiers. It's very exciting to have both of you here. Thank you so much for joining us. We won't ask you too much about the decks you're playing because you're going to need to keep that a little bit secret from each other to see which one of you is going to be winning. But we will also come back and talk to you when the duel is over. and we look forward to it. The best of luck to you and your teams, though. We're going to let you guys go and get ready as you get into your first match. But best of luck, guys. Thank you so much again for joining us, and we will be speaking to you again very, very soon. Good luck.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Good game, Fafa.
There we
Good
go.
game, good luck. See you in
Good
the
luck.
see you in the duel.
Look at this sportsmanship. That's what we like to see. Thank you very much, gents. We will see you shortly. Wonderful, isn't it? They're both great guys, and they both played incredibly well at the Invitational. I'm excited to see what happens here.
Yeah, and of course, with it being a team battle, that deciding match, we could see it come down to the final match, just deciding everything.
I don't want to try and set things up too much, but I'd really like to see that. I think actually, who doesn't want to just go straight into an exciting, tense final duel, the decider, where you have Zulu and Farther duking it out live on stream? That's what we want to see. So I imagine we're gonna probably see some tier limits happening.
Yeah, and you mentioned earlier the presence of the Flunderies and the Exorcister really rising up in prominence as entire decks built to kind of counteract those really more common dominant Telements decks. I do want to talk about some interesting cards individually that we've seen start to crop up as legitimate answers to the Telements.
To the Telements menace.
Yeah, and I'm talking about, for the most part, the likes of Mask Change 2 coming to get Masked Hero Dark Law out of the extra deck to banish from the graveyard and really make it difficult for the Telements players to have access to the search, to the graveyard, and all of that.
Abyss Dweller as well, another good one, and just prevents a lot of that grave interaction. And Ghostspell Haunted Mansion. These are all cards that people are really sort of trying to make sure they utilize just to really prevent some of that interaction, aren't they?
Yeah, and Ghostspell and Haunted Mansion is an interesting one for me because it replaced Ash Blossom and Joy of Spring in a lot of the main decks because, at the end of the day, 40 cards feels like you have a lot of options when you factor in that you need, say, 30 of a specific engine to get a degree of consistency. You only have so many additional slots where you can look for flexibility, where you can look to implement counters, and when you have 3 Ghostspell and Haunted Mansion, 2 Dimension Shifter, some triple tactics talent in there for good measure, a lot of these main decks are being taken up, if not the whole deck, Exorcister, Flunderies, in the hopes of dealing with the Telements.
Listen to your passion, Ibris, as you talk about Master Duel. You do love it, don't you?
I do, and I also love the Dynamorphia deck
You
that is
certainly
currently...
do. Go on, we've got some time to fill before we manage to get into our duel while they get ready. Talk to us about Dynamorphia. Why do you like Dynamorphia?
So Dynamorphia at the moment does have a pretty solid matchup into Telements. The only issue is that if you open with Dimension Shifter, you banish your own graveyard for that turn as well, which means that Dynamorphia Regina can't access the trap that you've used to summon her, and as such, you can't just continue with that combo to get out the Dynamorphia Rex term, which is oftentimes the go-to. So you just get your life points as low as possible, get Rex term out as soon as possible, and just lock the opponent out of monster effects.
That's definitely going to be useful. And I can see why you like it, because I have a penchant myself for dinosaurs, as people who have maybe seen me talk in other streams might know. I'm just a big fan, and I still play my dinosaur deck in Master Duel because, as I mentioned, the Forbidden Limited list in Master Duel is a interesting hybrid that has all these different sort of cards available. So obviously we have the presence of Max C, which we're not used to having in the TCG, and that changes how a lot of decks work. And then I have things like 3 Miscellaneous Saurus available in this Forbidden Limited list, so it's still a very powerful deck.
I use a single one with 3 copies of Fossil Dig in...
Oh, and the Dynamorphias?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Actually, it is just what I want to talk about, the single cards that come into prominence as, in the case of Abyss Dweller, just as legitimate options to answer some of the more common cards within the format. Something that's recently cropped up for me that was super interesting was the Ice Jade Jimmy Aegirine. And as a fairly generic synchro summon, it's up there with Psychic End Punisher and Baron de Fleur as really lending a lot of legitimacy to some of these more rogue decks that would otherwise really struggle, because it helps deal with the graveyard, it does a lot And, it has a good amount of attack points as well.
It certainly does. And it's interesting you brought up Psychic End Punisher, because that's a card that was seeing quite a lot of play lately, because it's just a really good card.
Again, it's just the fact that it adds a legitimate kind of final piece to the combo for a lot of these synchro-focused decks that have otherwise struggled to keep up with the pace of some of the more faster decks in the format.
Absolutely right. And just a reminder for those of you who have maybe forgotten, excuse me, I'm choking on my aspirations because I want to qualify for Master Duel. God, I'm good at working a cough into a segue. So, the dates that you guys need to make sure that you're aware of are May 16th through May 29th. So it's already underway. You guys have to be earning points in these duels to get to Duelist level 20. And between May 26th to 29th are the regional qualifiers that you guys will be taking part in. And the top first and second players in areas A, C, and E in their team of 3 will be making their way to that WCS. And that is incredibly exciting to know that even just by sitting and playing at home, whether it's on console, whether it's on mobile, you can be making your way just sitting on your couch or sitting at your desk. You could be making your way there. You don't have to come to a different tournament or go to a center to do it. You can just do it from the comfort of your own home and make your way to that world stage. Do you have what it takes? Well, why don't you log in and find out? And also, if you log in, you'll be able to get 1,000 gems, a Blackwing Full Armor Master icon, and the Royal Finish Blackwing Full Armor as well. This is an incredible card. And also, why not get a hands on a little structure deck in the shop as well with those 1,000 gems that you've been given to really take advantage of some of the cards in there and build yourself some amazing decks.
That was fantastic. I'm not sure if I can follow it, but I'll try. Yeah, and actually it is the Blackwings that I did want to just touch on one more time before we jump into this duel. And that is, of course, the fact that with access to the Full Armor Master, just being able to get down the repeated normal summons, the Black Whirlwinds, the Searches, there's a lot going on for that Blackwing deck at the moment, to the point where watching people play Master Duel or even playing in the qualifiers themselves, a lot of the decks you're running into are Blackwing variants because of how accessible that structure deck has made it.
Well, there you go. That's the best way to get involved right now. If you're maybe thinking about coming back to the game as well, what a great way of doing it. Master Duel is entirely free across multiple different platforms. You can log in right now and get yourself access immediately to some good cards. You can buy a lot of structure decks with 1,000 gems, so why not leap in and grab them today and get your hands on those Blackwing ones. And very, very shortly, we'll be going over to our 3 duels that you'll see as we head into the grand final between Zulu and Farfa to see exactly what's happening in that 3v3. So for those people who maybe at home are used to not 3v3 formats and are used to 1v1, just explain to me, like I'm 5, Ibris, how a 3v3 will work.
So this is essentially a back-to-back of 3 separate best of ones with team affiliations for each player. At the end of the 3 games, the team with the most wins wins.
There we go. So basically what you're saying is it's like taking a standard single-person duel best of 3, but spreading those duels out over 3 duelists instead.
Essentially, yes. But with Farfa taking on Zulu in that 3rd and final game, regardless of the outcome of those first 2 duels, we're certainly going to be in for something special.
Absolutely. And like I said, we didn't want either of them to reveal the decks they were playing just yet. Not only for keeping it secret from you at home from watching, but probably from each other for the sake of strategy and things. But we are ready, I believe, we're about to get ready to see our first duel happening. Both of our duelists are just settling down into their room. Settling down, it is a virtual room, but I'm imagining them settling down and getting comfortable as they try and get on in there. And we will soon be able to leap in and spectate and see exactly what is going on. And I'm excited. Maybe we'll see Tia, possibly some Flu, possibly from Exosister. Will we see Dinomorphia? That remains to be seen, but you'll be very happy if we do.
I think I'll be very happy regardless of what we see.
Very true.
Simply because Zulu has promised something very exciting for
Really?
us tonight.
Wow. I mean, if that's not a tease, then I don't know what is. make sure you guys stick around, because obviously there are 3 different duels, and I'm hearing right now in my ear that we're very shortly going to be heading over to that duel, and you guys can see exactly how this is going to play out. Team Farfa versus Team Zulu, Team UK versus Team France. Who will win? We're about to find out. It's going to be very, very exciting. So hold on to your seats, hold on to your cards, because it's time to head over to our first duel. That was smooth, if I do say so myself, Ibris. So we can see our 2 duelists there at table 1, waiting for this to happen. So we're going to be able to spectate on this any second. Begin the duel. How exciting. We did see, while you guys couldn't see it, we can see the waiting room. We saw them using some of the auto-generated messages, actually sending some nice messages of love to each other, saying like, I'm psyched to duel with you and stuff. That's the kind of good sportsmanship we want to see here at the Road to Worlds.
And if you at home want to take part in the Road to Worlds and attempt to qualify through the Worlds qualifiers,
you can jump straight online. You can take part from May 16th to May 29th in the first stage, trying to duel your way through points up to duelist level 20. From May 26th to May 29th, you'll be taking part in the regional qualifiers for those of you who have managed to get there. And the first and second place players in areas A, C, and E will be making their way into the finals, which is very exciting, seeing how all of that goes. We'll be seeing that top cut. We're currently just waiting to make sure our duelists are ready. These things take time. We have a lot of people to communicate with, but fear not, you've got Ibris and I here to talk to you until we're ready. And by the looks of it, we're seeing our duel happen right now. So we're going to jump on in very shortly, in the next few seconds, no less. There we are. Excellent. The red and blue swirls of destiny. Now, that's a first anniversary field, is it
that
not?
is indeed, plus 2 very cool mates. So the
Gaia, the Fierce Knight.
Yeah.
And also the Dragon Maidens.
So the Gaia actually turns into Gaia the Dragon Champion when you interact with the extra deck.
Wow.
Yeah.
And those are some cool protectors as well. They're also from the first anniversary, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
We're getting to see a good range of stuff. So we're already... Okay, so we're seeing a branded here. Now, something I will say is I'm not sure which person is from which country. So that's something we'll have to find out.
So Trape is from France. This is Team Zulu on the bottom.
Team Zulu on the
playing
bottom.
the branded deck.
Okay,
Yep.
thank you for letting me know that. Team Zulu are on the bottom, and that means that the red player is Team Farfa. So we're seeing that France are starting off with a branded deck. Branded fusion immediately there, but being ashed.
So the Aluba, the Jester of Despia, is obviously a very key component of this deck. Branded Fusion being hit by the Ash Blossom and Joy Spring is a little bit unfortunate for Trape, but shouldn't be too disruptive, especially if you can get the Lubellion or the Masquerade here. Albion, the Branded Dragon, actually going to be the play. That just allows him access to another fusion monster.
That was the optimal target there, actually, for the Ash Blossom, straight on that Branded Fusion, but it's not stopped Team France. Mirror Jade, that's exactly what we expect to see.
Yeah, Mirror Jade, the Iceblade Dragon, of course, being super difficult to deal with due to the amount of disruption that it offers, as well as the fact that this recurring theme of things with 3,000 attack points being pretty formidable.
Absolutely. It's hard to get rid of anything like that, especially when you've got some also pretty lethal effects as well in the arsenal. But now we're seeing our first turn for Team UK. How would you say that name? Is it Quantal? Quantal?
Quantal.
Quantal. So Quantal versus Trape is how I'm going to think of this. Team UK versus Team France.
So Pot of Prosperity, and I would say it's pretty unlikely that Trape actually has an Ash Blossom of his own. It feels funny to say that now, but given the fact that we've seen so many of these decks forego that otherwise staple in favor of the Ghost Bell and Haunted Mansion to deal with the Telements cards. Speaking of Telements cards, by the way.
Oh, here we go.
So, something that's super interesting to me, just observing players of Telements in Master Duel specifically versus TCG versus OCG, is the fact that in Master Duel, you can't really look for the Shiren to start the combos because you have to be super conscious of the fact that your opponent has max C. Tearlament's Scream will likely get either the Shiren or, the Rhino Heart. The Rhino Heart is the choice because you don't know if the opponent is running max C or not.
And by this point, we'd probably see a max C coming out soon, so there's a very good chance that Team France, don't have the max C in hand. But we saw that Rhino Heart come off the Pot of Prosperity. We've seen Havnis go to the grave. Oh no, Merly, sorry.
So I would actually be pretty intrigued to see if we have any access to the Primeval Planet Pellerino. Being at 1 means that we've seen a lot of Tearlament's decks actually opt for Rainbow Bridge of the Heart and other ways of kind of accessing a pseudo terraforming to look for that field spell specifically because it's such an integral part of these decks.
Okay, so we're seeing Kit Kalos coming straight out there. Is Kit Kalos currently limited in Master Duel's lists?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah, there we go. So that's that one of that we're seeing. Even at 1, still a very formidable deck.
Will be interesting to see where we go from here. Of course, Quantal playing around the Mirror Jade, the Iceblade Dragon. Essentially free to use the Shiren because if there were a max C, it would have been used by now.
So I hope you guys are paying attention to this because this is exactly the kind of matchup you guys are likely to be seeing. We see that Infinite Impermanence coming out there straight on that Kit Kalos. That's pretty good right now. So adding that card from the deck to the hand or sending it to the grave, we're going to prevent some of those mill effects from going on there. But Branded versus Tia, this is the kind of thing... Oh, DD Crow!
Yeah, this is another tech card that really came to prominence with the advent of these decks that utilize the graveyard so heavily. Banishing any of those Earth Fairies, like the Kelbeck, the Ancient Vanguard, like the Mudora the Sword Oracle, any of those really disrupts Tearlaments, or even taking apart some of the core of the tier deck can go a long way to stagnating an otherwise pretty explosive turn 1.
So these were some of those cards we were talking about that really just interrupt those plays. Obviously, like we mentioned, Abyss Dweller, another one that's pretty good. The Ghost Bell and Haunted Mansion, all pretty useful.
I need my Mask Change 2 into Mask Hero Dog
You
Lore.
certainly do, mate. Okay, there we go. And that Imperm stop it. And that column is now gone as well. So Kit Kalos there having the effect stopped, so that means we're probably going to not see the combo carry on there. But let's see exactly... Oh, we've got Triple Tactics Talent!
This was another answer to the typical Tearlament's Mirror matches, because it's so good at answering any kind of effect during your turn from your opponent. And using it now is really, really good for Quantal.
Okay, so what's going to be the target for Mirror Jade, do you think?
We'll see.
Banishing one monster. Are you going to go for Kit Kalos at this point? Most likely. But we'll see. You can feel the cogs down.
Yep.
Yeah, there we go. Kit Kalos
Okay.
going straight off. Can't say the word Triple Tactics Talent. Thank you, Brain. Triple Tactics Talent. There we go. That chain one finally resolving. We'll see what happens from here. I mean, this could be a heck of a long 3v3 if we've got some, quite intense plays like this. And just to remind you, it's only turn 2. These duels, they go on for a while. I remember seeing at some of the YCS top. I mean, there it is. That Mirror Jade's gone over.
Yeah, of course, Triple Tactics Talent giving you the option to choose between a few. The most devastating here being take control of the opponent's monster.
Especially with 3,000 attack, that's going to be quite a lot of damage. Okay.
Of course, this Aluba Jester of Despia has its effect negated from being in the same column as that Infinite Impermanence.
I don't know why they didn't go for... I suppose it didn't really matter. I was wondering why they attacked in that.
The battle damage is halved because of the pot.
Yes, yeah. I was wondering why they didn't attack directly with with Mirror Jade, but I guess we'll see. Banish 7 cards from your hand or field. Oh,
Fairy
okay,
Tale
Fairy
Snow,
Tale
of course,
Snow.
being that Book of Moon with legs functionally, means that, yeah, it's going to be another difficult situation for Trape to deal with. And we mentioned these decks that really interact with the graveyard a lot. Branded, yes, it's one of them to a degree, but not to the same degree that Tillaments is, and as such, with 1 card in hand, Trape situation looking pretty dire right now.
Very possibly, but, you know, anything can happen in Master Duel. That's the beauty of it. All it takes is a solid hand trap or something to come out, and it'll really disrupt the place. But we've seen Medora go in there. Banish the card from the field or graveyard, target 3 cards in any graveyard or up to 5, and then they're going straight into the deck. Some pretty good recycling of the materials from Medora. That probably seems like we're going to head into the... Oh, any response there? Do you know, I get a second-hand anxiety from watching this game whenever it's your turn and the turn changes over for the opportunity to resolve an effect.
Yeah.
I just feel my whole body tense up because I know something's coming
XC Summon?
Yep,
Abyss?
Seeing an overlay here.
Nope,
Oh,
Baguska.
Baguska!
Okay.
Now that's going to be very effective. That defense position Baguska, quite difficult to handle when you don't have a field. And only a single card in hand for Trape as well. It looks like this may be going to Team UK already, but like I said, it's not over until it's over. It's not over until the final life point is played.
How do we deal with number 41 Baguska, the terribly tired...
Terribly tired Tapir. I love that name.
Yeah. Me too. He's on the loading screen for Master Duel sometimes, by the way.
I know, he's great. Oh, the music just kicked into high gear, Ibris. Which means it must not be looking good for Trape, even by in-game standards. Baguska's effect. See exactly what's going to happen here. It's difficult when we can't see the hands of either of the players because we're entirely uncertain what plays they're going to be going for, but we could take an educated guess. Into that main phase 1. Come on, what's going to happen here? Baguska, just a very staple XE's card to see here. It's just, right now it's going to be a stall out till more resources come to Team UK, I think, for those tier elements. But can Branded do anything at this point with 1 set card at the moment?
And this set card is a little bit scary for any tier elements player, simply because your primary spell and trap removal consists of Harpy's Feather Duster, Tillaments Heartbeat, and Evenly Matched. All of which, besides the latter, tend to just be run as 1. Of course, with Harpy's Feather Duster being limited, it has to be run as 1. But yeah, the spell and trap removal from this deck definitely is one of the major kind of counterpoints that opponents can look to take advantage of.
We're seeing a second set card, but there's not really much else you can do with that defense position Baguska on the field, so at this point it's about stalling out, and it looks like Quantal from Team UK is starting to gather some resources, so what are we going to see happen from here? There's a lot of prompting for effects to be activated by Trape, so there's something under there. There's a quick play or a trap. We're going to see that Baguska come out again, so that means we're stalling out for an extra turn just to see what other resources they can gather by the next turn.
So with that single copy of Kit Kalos being removed from the field and put in the banish pile, it is maybe a little bit more difficult for Quantal to look for a finishing move here.
So we've seen Keldo come out.
Mm-hmm.
We've got Kelbeck in the hand.
Of course, these Earth Fairies being such a key component of why Tillaments can continue to manipulate the graveyard and the deck so well. Just sending cards from the deck to the graveyard and then having cards in the graveyard that resolve when they are sent to the graveyard. It just goes hand in hand.
We've seen Baguska go into attack. We're going to try for some damage, but I suppose it's no longer got any of the materials, so leaving it in defense position isn't going to do... Oh, hello! We're going into another overlay. Is Utopia? No. Oh, Time Thief Redoer! Okay.
That is unconventional.
It is, although it's quite a staple Xyz at this point. So we're going to have 4,500 damage there, which is going to put Trape under 1,000. Which means at the moment it's not looking good for Trape, but with those 2 set cards and oh, there it is! So we've seen Destruction Sword Memories.
Okay, so this Destruction Sword Memories can...
Oh, Max C. That's really going to help Team UK get some of those resources back when this gets special summoned.
By the way, this is branded Buster Blader.
Yes. Probably should have mentioned that.
Yeah.
So, what are we going to see come out?
Actually, the Destruction Dragon goes a long way to locking the opponent out of the extra deck, which probably would have been very useful before facing down a field full of extra deck monsters.
I mean, you can feel the cogs turning there from Quantal. I imagine he's reading the card, thinking, how do I deal with this? How do I get over this? I can't attack through it. I don't know what it's going to do. I'll have to end my turn. Are we going to go main phase 2?
To be fair, if you are just passing back and forth, Time Thief Redoer does kind of put a soft clock in addition to the 10 timer.
I see what you've done there. Time Thief Redoer, clock, soft clock. You didn't just throw that together. That was a good pun. I think it was unintentional as well by the look on your face.
Thanks for piecing that together for me.
I did the heavy lifting for you. It's all right. Now, this was an interesting turn of events here.
So this is the aforementioned kind of soft clock on the game. Is if Time Thief Redoer gets spell, trap, monster attached to it,
it's now got a quick effect.
Very difficult.
And there it is. We'll see the quick effect. Which one are they going for, though? Will it banish the card, draw a card? Well, I guess it depends which one of them that they're removing. Okay, there goes the spells. That's draw a card. Oh, we see Cosmic Cyclone. I mean, at this point, everything's kind of changed a little bit. I wasn't entirely certain where this duel was going just then. We got a Luba back out.
Yeah, and then this should be either another Albion, potentially a Masquerade. I wouldn't expect a Lubellion.
Oh, and a branded fusion in hand.
Do we have another Ash Blossom, though?
Not by the looks of it.
We're
about to find out. No.
Okay.
No Ash Blossom. Wow, this is looking like it could be a good comeback from Trape.
What does he go for?
What was your money on? It was like the Masquerade or the Albion.
Albion
the
again.
Albion, yeah.
So then Albion will naturally bridge into another fusion monster. And then this is where we'll expect to see a quick effect come through. The Keldo, the Sacred Protector, being resolved in the graveyard. So if you remove from the graveyard a lot of the options for the attributes to mix into the fusion, it really limits Trape's options for where he can go with this Albion.
And it also helps put some of those resources back in the deck for Quantal. Oh. Okay, it's going to be interesting to see what goes on here.
I'm not sure if he has a valid option now.
I'm not sure either. Waiting patiently to see exactly what's happened. Because we can't see either of these duelists. We can't see the look of it, the furrowed brow intensity that should be happening right now on one of their faces. Because that's what will be happening to me. I'd be going, oh god, what do I
I like that the branded component has just been answered at every single turn, so we're now seeing the Buster Blader part of the deck being relied upon.
It's true, and this is quite a common choice in the meta at the moment, the Buster Blader one, I seem to be hearing. So there's a chance that this is something that people are going to be up against quite a lot. So like I said earlier, hope you guys are paying attention. Oh, there's Masquerade. So you were right. You were right with both of your choices.
So this is just some additional life point damage. Speaking of additional life point damage, though, this is about to be a lot.
I thought you were about to say it's about to be game.
Not quite.
No, I was going to say that's quick maths.
It would leave him on...
Oh, hang on. With the equip.
700.
Well, with the equip as well from the Buster Blader.
Okay.
Oh, we could have game here. That's down to 5,000. And then, well, he's only got 4,300 on there. The equip doesn't seem to do anything unless it's just during damage calculation. I'm having to use primary school maths to try and figure out exactly what's going on there.
So, even if you have Quantal left on triple-digit life points, Masquerade the Blazing Dragon can limit Quantal to just 2 more card effects.
Okay. Oh.
1 more card effect.
Wow. That burn damage.
Though, if that card is Fairy Tale Snow, you can flip the Masquerade face down.
Yes, which... Oh.
Okay. Ouch.
Oof.
So, burn damage mitigated for a little while, plus the attack is stopped temporarily.
Yes.
In addition to that, 1850, unfortunately, slightly too big for the Aluba to deal with right now.
That was quick thinking from Quantal there, even if it was worth the little risk for the Masquerade damage. Oof. Okay, we get into main phase 2. Now, how does Trape re-establish some of the momentum?
So, due to the nature of Albion, the Aluba Jester of Despia actually has more value in the graveyard than on the field, which is why that sequence of events just happens.
And Time Thief Redoer has come back as well.
He's back.
He's back.
But can he do anything?
It's really hard not to hum along to the music of this. I'm so used to listening to it while I do. Okay, so there's our first of the materials that's been taken from the grave.
Top of the deck.
What did I say? From the grave?
Yeah.
So I'm staring at lots of different cards at once and trying to go, which move is going on? And I said the wrong words. Thanks again, brain. Oh, we've seen Reinhardt again. Honestly, if this is a deck you haven't seen played before, it's mesmerizing because there's so many different effects and it all works off each other. We actually haven't seen that many of the milling effects go off as well. That's usually been a really core part of it, and you see that a lot in the mirror matchups. But most of the time we've had to see a lot of interacting. We've seen Kit Kalos come out. It's generally pretty interesting to see this, but if you guys don't know how Tier Elements works, like, I've seen Tier Elements, but I don't play Tier Elements, so I'm not entirely... I'm no expert. I'm no Team UK when it comes to the Tier Elements, but this is definitely a deck you want to wrap your head around. There's Kaleido Heart.
And there goes Albion.
So the thing that's keeping them going, Aluba, like you said, more effective in the graveyard there. That Kaleido Heart, it's such a dominant presence. 3,000 attack is a lot, and there's nothing that I believe Trape can do to out that on just attack points alone.
And it's very impressive that Quantal actually managed to flip this back into his favor after having 1 card in hand.
Very
and it just goes to show how impactful the graveyard and the existing effects on the field really are for this Tier Elements deck.
You're absolutely right. And the sort of like you mentioned with the existing field effects, that's why we're starting to see a little bit more of Ghost Ogre coming back as well, because that prevents those on-field effects from activating.
Yep.
We're seeing a lot of that come back recently, as well as Ghost Spell. That ever-shifting meta really, really helps change things up. But look at that, an entire field cleared there almost, except for that Aluba. Oh no, sorry, including the Aluba. I thought Fairy Tail Snow had attacked. My mistake. But look at it go. That's an entire field cleared there by Team UK. Quite an intimidating presence. Life points almost equal at this point, so frankly, this is anyone's game. Although, realistically, it's probably Quantal's, but let's see what happens here. What's going to happen on this turn change?
Let's see.
Could this be a surrender?
He
Could this
has
be
a
it?
decent amount of cards in the graveyard.
Time Thief Reader is taking another material from the top of the deck.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, we're seeing Masquerade come back out because of its effect. Controlling those extra deck monsters means you can get that out, but it will be banished at the end. But at this point, it's sort of all or nothing. So you've got to go for it as much as you can. What can we see that combined with? What is that one card in hand going to be? Oh, there's that Kaleido Heart.
Really difficult to deal with unless Trape has a miracle. Or Triple Tactics talent of his own. Scream.
It's just such a versatile deck. There's an answer for everything, and everything synergizes with everything else.
Can we see the Shiren being searched from the deck? Are you still afraid of Maxi?
Oh, Sully.
Oh, Sully? Okay. Mud Dragon.
Yep. Well, here we go. We're seeing Time Thief Redo interacting there.
So the reason why Quantal is comfortable just continuing to banish this Time Thief Redoer is because every time it comes back to the field, the Tailorman Scream happens again. The Kaleido Heart then responds to that, and it's basically just a recurring combo again and again and again every turn.
This is looking like Quantal's taking it, I'll be totally honest. Trape is not in a great position. That Time Thief Redo is back.
Another summon means that the
We're sending those top 3 cards.
Scream is going
Scream's
to...
reacting.
Yeah.
So there's a... Oh, Infinite Impermanence!
Okay.
That's good. And also, it's in the same column as Kaleido Heart.
Is there anything Trape can do with this, though?
No, I don't think so. I think even with the disparity in life points, and that's a heck of a field. Send the two elements to the deck to hand. So we've got a Havness coming into hand. But is that going to be enough? I mean, I think judging by this battle phase, this could be it. With only 800, yeah, this is it. That's got to be game. That's game for Quantal. Unless there's a graveyard effect that's suddenly going to pop, which it doesn't look like there is, which means that Team UK have taken the first round. Okay, interesting. So that means Team Farper 1, Team Zulu 0. Congratulations to Quantal Think there, who's managed to beat out against Trape in the first of our Master Duel rounds. Quite exciting, and a really good display of two of the decks that you're very likely to see as you go into these qualifiers, which I'll remind you of the dates again of those, Ibris. So, obviously, between May 16th and May 29th, that's when you guys are going to be qualifying, and if you qualify, you get into the regional qualifiers, pardon, not the regional final, and that's from May 26th to May 29th. And so if you get in there, the first and second players in areas A, C, and E will be heading off into the finals. So
and for further information on areas A, C, and E, please see the in-game notification or head on over to our Twitter. And on that Twitter, you'll also find a fantastic opportunity to enter a giveaway to win
a Rescue Rabbit, and of course an Arc 5 Yuya pendant. Two very sought after prizes. So make sure you guys do head over there to the website and to Twitter. Try and make sure you guys can see exactly the terms and conditions that you may need to fill in for that and to try and win one of 5 of these giveaways. Very exciting. So, like I said, those are two of the decks that you're very likely to see during this qualifier. So I think for people watching who are aware of the meta, that's probably not new news. But to the people who are maybe the more casual players, maybe sort of lower ranks, maybe in the silvers or golds, that was probably something really vital to see, because you get to see just how versatile a Telements deck is. It responds so well to itself in all of those ways, and there's a reason that in TCG it was as dominant as it is, and it's come over to Master Duel and been as dominant as it is.
And there's also a reason as to why a lot of these cards that we mentioned earlier and a lot of these decks that we mentioned as being legitimate contenders were popularized because of their ability to answer the Telements that are currently very, very formidable.
So we had, what were the ones we said? We said Ghost Bell, I said Ghost Ogre, that's
Master
another
Change
one.
2, DD Crow, Dimension Shifter, Triple Tactics Talent. We did see Triple Tactics Talent and DD Crow in that game, so
we did.
Very, very cool.
So yeah, like you said, these are all cards that are quite established, and we are going to be speaking to the team captains after their duel in a couple of duels' time to see the kind of cards that they suggest. But we've said our piece, things like Abyss Dweller, and you'll probably hear us list this again as we fill time before the round after this next round. But both of our duelists are getting ready. We're about to jump in and spectate, which means you guys can join us as we go into the second round. Remember, UK 1, France 0. French words. See, I'm doing pretty well at this cross-European identity thing here. But we're going to see exactly what happens in this duel. Always exciting to see where our duelists go. And will we see similar decks? We're about to find out. So we're going to head on over and jump into our second round of our Master Duel, exhibition matches. I almost said Master Duel Invitational. That's not what this is, Ibris.
Team Battle.
Team Battle. So, Volt versus Jordan. Now, do you want to remind everyone which is which?
So, Volt, of course, representing France here on Team Zulu. Jordan, Team Fartha.
There we go. So, it's flipped around from the... we're seeing another Telements deck. There's a shot. But a Max C straight away. That's incredibly useful right now. Like I said, in a format where Max C exists. A Call by the Grave!
Nice.
That's the perfect opening play if you're up against a Max C. There's nothing we can do. Okay.
Yeah, so now the Shiren should just be able to resolve. Not that it was being interrupted before anyway, of course, Max C just being kind of a deterrent from following up on that play. And that does mean that now the Telements can run rampant this turn.
What do you think he's up against? We know Tyr.
Something running Max C.
Quite a lot of them are running Max. That could be anything at this point. And with those lovely protectors on the cards as well, with the Trishula, what could it be?
Well, wait for his turn.
We're about to find out together. Is that the new Sprite Blue, mate, as well?
That is, and it looks very cool.
It does look very cool. Remember, if you guys log in and you get your 1,000 gems, you too could have a Sprite Blue helping you duel. We're seeing Shadol Beast as well. Oh, DD Crow! Like you said, mate. You said a couple of times, Ibris, that this is a staple card that's going to be seen in a lot of these graveyard interaction plays. And there it is. Just banishing some of those. But are we going to see a response to the DD Crow at all on this chain? No, we're not.
No second called by the grave.
Nope.
Rhino Heart.
Mm-hmm. So despite the interruption... Oh, we're seeing a mirror match! Okay, now that we know what's going on, this is exciting to see.
Yeah, this is a little bit scary to deal with for Jordan, you have to imagine here. Fortunately, given the fact that Havness is level 3...
I will say...
wait. Shiren and Rhino Heart being level 4 means that you have access to Abyss Dweller, and that should shut down the opposing Tillerman's player.
That's true. Scream is activating over in Jordan's grave as well. So we're going to be seeing a trap come from deck to hand, unless there's some kind of interruption. But this is pretty much what you're going to see a lot in these World Championship qualifiers, people watching at home. So make sure you duelists are paying attention on ways that either of these duelists manage to out each other. We're seeing Kelbeck as well activate.
Mm-hmm. And you kind of have to just throw what you can at removing one of these monsters from the field at this point, specifically so you don't go against the Abyss Dweller by the time your turn rolls around.
It's true, those Abyss Dwellers can be pretty lethal. I'm wondering if that's something that maybe Volt might consider building into at this point. But we're seeing a lot of chains going on here. Keldo responding to Kelbeck, responding to Scream, responding to... Was it Havness at the start?
I believe so.
It was Havness.
Where is Mask Change 2?
That's what you really need to see it. It's the Dark Lore and Mask Change 2. Is that your go-to strat?
I think that it really was super cool to see as an adaptation that these Tillerman's players made to deal with the mirror match specifically. But Triple Tactics Talent, DD Crow, a lot of other good things too.
So Volt has ended there with actually, I'd say, giving a lot more of a field to Jordan. Jordan seems to have actually taken over a bit more of the dominance here. And so we'll see exactly what happens in this turn as we go into main phase 1.
So I'm a bit concerned that of the Tillerman's players so far, we have yet to see anyone open up with a Primeval Planet Pelourinho. Granted, it is at 1, but it also, you have Terraforming, you have Rainbow Bridge of the Heart.
There are ways to get to it.
Yeah, and I think it's such an integral part of the strategy and would even help a lot in the mirror match that, yeah, we'll see. Meta Noise.
Meta Noise. So that's put Havness face down there, which means that attack won't continue. You can see the thought process going on. I don't think Jordan was expecting that, so he's now sort of trying to figure out exactly what to do. But do you use the Kelbeck and just try and go for an attack to try and get rid of it at this point? Is it Rhino Heart in the other field?
It is indeed Rhino Heart.
So do you just crash into it with the Kelbeck and try to get rid of both Kelbeck and that, or is that probably not the smart thing to do?
I guess we'll see.
Oh,
I think the holdup was actually choosing what to send to the graveyard.
Because again, choosing the right card will kick off a bunch of synergy. So it's just making sure that you've got the right thing.
You've already got a Chain Link 1 resolving in the graveyard. Where does it go?
We're about to find out. So, the one thing I do always like about Master Duel, it's very helpful that when there's a wall of text for different effects, it highlights exactly what effect is being activated. So right now we're seeing Havness with, if this card is sent to the graveyard by card effect, except during the damage step, you can fusion summon one fusion monster from your extra deck by placing fusion materials mentioned on it from your hand, field, and or graveyard, including this card from your graveyard or the bottom of the deck in any order. But with that being flipped down, I don't think that's now going to be able to resolve. So there's definitely some thinking going on here at this moment. I'm wondering, I think at the moment there's another selection going on from Volt to try and figure it out. Oh, here we go.
Okay.
This is the fusion kicking off, right?
Yep.
Kick Kalos straight in. The one of, well, we see it a lot despite it being a one of.
So the Scream now, you have to imagine, would be free to search for a Shiren to start the combo all over again, simply because there was no max CU so far.
So we're seeing that Rhino Heart come out again. So sending one Tillemans monster from the deck to the graveyard. So we've seen Merly go in. So now we're going to see one fusion summon happen here. So we're probably going to see Kit Kalos, probably. Would you go into... Well, I guess we'll see. Let him cook. Yep, okay.
Okay.
So, when that happens, I'm just wondering what the kind of play is here. I'm trying to look a few moves ahead to see what happens. Do you just drive into the Kit Kalos there and just try and get rid of both of them, or would that not really help? It would clear up some of the ground to be able to take some life points, but that's about it. We've taken Merly to hand, though. Oh, we're going to see an XEs.
Level 4, Abyss Dweller.
Oh, you were right. Okay,
Yep.
so this is another card
This has swung the game absolutely in favor of Jordan.
Absolutely. That's a couple of turns where that graveyard interaction. Send the targeted monster to the graveyard. Okay. Although... Well, see again, my brain keeps shutting down because I keep trying to think about, right, where do you go from this? But now they're trying to do some of the cards back to from deck to the graveyard. Every
This
move
is
feels very considered.
8 cards being sent.
If it hits even one of those Shizu cards, we'll be seeing some. Oh, there it is, Agido. An Abyss Dweller.
Abyss Dweller, yep.
Stopping anything from happening on Volt's side of the field there. And also using a chain block to make sure that Agido doesn't get interrupted either.
Exactly. I always get a little bit scared when playing Dynamorphia because Solemn Judgment immediately takes the chain's speed up to counter trap speed, so nothing else can resolve after that. So it's very, yeah. I just want to add so many chain links. Maybe not this many, but quite a bit.
Okay. So now we've seen Kaleido Heart come out. This is sort of what we expected to happen. Okay, and so that means Kit Kalos is going to get shuffled back into the deck.
And the scary thing is, all of this is happening without the Scream or the Primeval Planet Pillarino being face up on the field.
Which would have made this even more lethal.
Yeah, as impactful as this is, it could have been even scarier.
Which is kind of weird to think about when you think of it. But with that Abyss Dweller on field, and with Kaleido Heart out there as well, and with this Kit Kalos getting wiped off the field there, back into the extra deck, that's a really dominant side for Jordan.
You also have one more material on the Abyss Dweller.
Yeah, so that
that's
means
one
when it
more.
goes over to Volt's turn, there's no graveyard interaction going on there.
Basically a turn in which the Tillemans deck is just kind of forced to sit there and watch.
And there it is, straight away, immediately activating that effect. Is something going to get chained to that? Now, like we said, Abyss Duel are quite a common pick at this point. No response. I thought maybe something might maybe hand trap it, but no. That Abyss Dweller started straight off, but we've got Scream coming out.
Okay, so you can't search the graveyard. Why not search the deck? With Scream.
Seems smart.
Shiren to start the combo without too much fear of Maxi. I mean, at this point, you don't have the luxury of playing around Maxi. You just have to go for whatever you can.
I did just see a terraforming hit the grave, though, which means that that's Pellerino?
Primeval Planet Pellerino?
Now we're panicking. But that one, the field spell, that means that's probably now out of reach.
Unless he has
Volt,
Rainbow Bridge of the Heart.
which could be in there.
But it's currently not face down on the field, and
Which
being a
means it
trap
would be
card means
hopeless,
that
yeah.
it's... Yeah.
So that means we're not going to see Pellerino from Volt. I'm going to change the way I say it every time I say it, just to mix it up. I'll get it right one of them.
Kaleido Heart now going to the graveyard. Little scary for Volt.
Yeah, but it comes straight back out, which is always nice. It's always a nervy moment when you have a big card taken off field and its effect just brings it straight back. Shiren chaining immediately off the back of that Kaleido Heart. Now, that's a heck of a Tearlaments field right there, with an Abyss Dweller on there preventing all that interaction on Volt's side. I mean, I don't want to speak too soon, but I think Jordan may actually have this, which means that could be 2 for Team UK. But like I said, it ain't over until it's over. But the turn did just change. They've all gained their life points back off the back of that Scream effect as well, which lowers everyone's attack. And so by this point, it's going to be pretty easy to clear through it, although that Abyss Dweller no longer has any materials, which means now Volt can interact with the graveyard, but with no cards in hand. There's still plenty in the grave, though, so anything could happen, but goodness me. This is a nervy moment for Volt here. Team France not quite having the same luck streak as the Team UK. But even if Team UK take 2 here, we're still going to show you Zulu versus Farfa, because that's the match you all came to see.
And it does indeed look like Team UK are going to take this one too.
Certainly does. Although, not enough attack power just to take it down to 0 life points this round. But there will be some very, very soon. But look at that. Like I said, that's a heck of a field. Oh, and we're seeing a Link 2 come in. And there's Sprite Elf coming out. Interesting. Okay, so now we've got Sprite Elf on the field, we've got Kit Kalos, and we've got Kaleido Heart. With a Rhino Heart coming out and basically immediately starting more off. There's plenty happening right now. And that is going to be it. That's a surrender there. So we're now going to come back over to us and have a little bit of a chat. But that means there's 2 for Jordan, or 2 for Team UK. Jordan taking that and Volt unfortunately losing, which means if this were just a regular 3v3, that they would have won that Team UK. But obviously it wouldn't be an exhibition match without taking you to the, the proper highlight duel that everyone wants to see.
And maybe this just motivates Zulu to take revenge.
Sorry, I'm suddenly hearing everything in my ear at once. What did you say? Sorry.
It might motivate Zulu to take revenge for his teammates.
Well, I guess we'll find out. Will Zulu be able to claw one quick victory away for the French? But we'll find out very, very soon. That duel is going to happen very soon. I can see both Farfa and Zulu making their way into Table 3 for our final exhibition match. Now, remember, if you guys are playing this at home, you guys can log in right now and get 1,000 gems. You can get the icon of Blackwing Full Armor Master, and you can also get your hands on a Royal Finish Blackwing Full Armor Master, as well as going into the shop and purchasing a structure deck of it, the Blackwing's Pride structure deck, which will give you guys a good upper hand to utilize that card immediately from the get-go, which is always an exciting reason to log back in. And remember, from May 16th, obviously a couple of days ago, till May 29th, you guys can take part in the first stage of the World Championship qualifiers. Going in from May 26th and May 29th is the regional qualifier.
Yeah, and
Exciting.
the purpose of this broadcast is to give you an understanding of what's to come and what to expect at the WCS. That's why we have the experts here. Bartha and Zulu will be joining us after their duel to go through their expectations around the cards they expect to see, as well as give you some helpful advice for those of you at home that are looking for some guidance on how to hopefully qualify to represent your region.
And if any of you guys were watching the tier limit mirror match that we've just witnessed and not known what on earth was going on, you're going to need some of that expert advice from our expert duelists. So make sure you pay attention, because for all we know, we're about to see another tier limit mirror match. What would you expect? Does Farfa seem like a tier player to you? Well, if it's for the WCQ, he could be, I guess.
Well, that being said, Zulu did promise us something super exciting and super spicy.
Now, if I wonder if Farfa's decided, look, we may secure 2 wins with the tier limits, so I'm going to play Burning Abyss. That would be quite a Farfa move. But we'll see. We'll see exactly what's going to happen, because we're going to come straight over to you guys so that we can see exactly what's going to happen in that duel. And very soon they will hop on in to that duel. We're about to hit spectate, and now we're ready to take you guys through that duel. Here we go. They're flipping the coin. We're going to see who's going to go first, and then we're going to go straight on in.
Bartha versus Zulu.
It all comes down to this. So, Farfa is going first. Okay.
Warrock.
Warrock. I wasn't expecting to see that. So, Warrock Gactus and then set 1. Now, what's Zulu playing? So this could be anything at this point. I'm on tenterhooks. Pot of Extravagance. Okay, so it hasn't given away too much. I just want to know. I just need to know. What deck are you playing, Zulu? Tell us the deck. It could be anything. Just give us a clue. Any clue. I don't know. I'm absolutely on the edge of my seat here, Ibriz. Come on, Zulu. Give us a clue. I need a Zulu clue. What deck are you? I'll do my best to rhyme this like Dr. Zeus. That was not my strongest, I'll be honest. But at this point, I'm just trying to fill time before we see that first card that's not Pot of Extravagance that lets us know what Zulu's playing.
Maybe the Warrock has thrown him.
Well, yeah, but I'm fairly certain, well, at least you seem to feel that Zulu's come with something spicy and exciting, so how much is it thrown off spicy and exciting?
Time will tell.
It certainly will. Tick-tock on Zulu's clock. Okay.
Okay.
Damn.
Still not revealing
Don't
anything.
give us any clues. Okay. Well, it could be something that, you know, Gactus can't get over. But I guess we'll see. Farfa now in quite a strong position here. I'll be honest, I think this is my first time ever seeing Warrock cards, so I'm a bit thrown off that Farfa's playing these.
So it's pretty interesting, actually, that he has opted to use these. I'm waiting for the attack so we can see what...
Ibriz, this is it. We might learn what deck Zulu's playing.
Oh, this is like a face-down Ash Blossom.
Is that Grand Marju? Wow, okay. Well, the Warrocks managed to get past that. Has Zulu just had a bad start? Did Zulu brick? That was Grand Marju, right?
That was Grand Marju Daisa. That's why I had so much defense, because the pot banished...
Yes, banished all 6.
Yeah. Unfortunately, the pay 800 life points to boost your Warrock's attack points by 800.
He's got another part of Extravagance coming out, which means if he has
Okay.
another Grand Marshal, he's doing really well, but...
Stronger one.
Farfa had an opportunity to respond there. My heart always stops when it flips over like that. I'm thinking, is that going to be a Max C or an Ash or something?
And that's why you should always toggle on the option to give you time to respond even if you don't have a response.
That's true, and people can figure out more about doing that if they go online right now and do the Master Duel Proficiency Test. Where can people learn more about that, Ibris?
So you can learn more about that in your in-game notifications, or you can head on over to Twitter, and if enough people pass or get a passing score on that test, they can help to
Unlock some things
get
for us, doesn't it?
protectors for the entire Master Duel community.
Well, there you go. You guys can be a part of that. Head over to Twitter and go onto the game notifications, and you can find out more about the Master Duel Proficiency Test.
Sorry, I got thrown off a little bit there because Toon Kingdom has now been added to the Hand of Zulu.
I also noticed that. I was trying to not look at the screen for a second, though. Oh, we've seen a Kaiju come down there. Wow, okay, so we're up against a Toon Burn deck?
Toon Burn, indeed.
I mean, that Max C, that's a heck of a play, but there's a chance we're not going to see anything. Oh, okay, so right, now I'm understanding. So it's a Toon Burn like Grand Marju kind of deck. Comic Hand. Take control of an opponent's monster. Oh, he's taking control of the Kaiju. Toon Rollback? Goodness me!
Okay.
That card went by so quick. I don't know the Toon cards very well, so I don't know what on earth just happened. But we're seeing it's a direct attack.
As a Toon card with Toon World or equivalent, in this case Toon Kingdom, on the field.
Whoa! 600 life points left for Farfa after one attack.
And that would be what Toon Rollback does.
Oh. And here we were going, oh, Zulu's probably bricked. He's probably not doing well. Look at that! That two attack Kaiju there. Wow, Zulu certainly does have something spicy there. But it's not over yet. Farfa could have something happen.
And we can't see the players right now, but I can imagine Zulu is laughing to himself pretty maniacally.
Yeah, I can certainly imagine a confident smile. And I can imagine a distressed Farfa going, how on earth? What just happened? Okay, it's okay. Let's see what happens in this next turn. Still main phase 1. Farfa giving some thought to what he's going to be playing. Patience is a virtue in this game. Unless, of course, the clock times you out. In which case... Oh! Dark Hole!
Okay.
Just wanted to get rid of the option of that happening again. You got to get that 3,300 attack monster off. Oh, that's a gorgeous animation. Oh. Oh, no. Toonwell prevented it. Oh, he did get rid of Lightning Storm. Well, to be able to play Lightning Storm. Okay.
Yep.
So he's going to get rid of that Toonwell. He's going to get rid of the glove as well, which will stop him from having that Kaiju anymore.
Yeah, so the play there was actually really, really cool. Just Dark Hole for your own monster to get rid of all your face-up cards. Then have access to the Lightning Storm to destroy the entire spell. Well, almost entire, because Toon Kingdom survived due to the graveyard effect.
I wasn't sure what happened there. I was waiting for it to get... I thought none of them were getting destroyed. Oh, Battle Fader as well stopped the attack from happening from Farfa. Wow, okay, so that means Farfa has come back a little bit from that situation, but has not been able to capitalize on it whatsoever because of Zulu's Battle Fader. Goodness me, Ibris, anything could happen here. Farfa not in a good position. If he loses control of that Kaiju again, it's all over.
Is there another Comic Hand, though?
Would you play more than one? I would, if you can do things like that. What he needs is another Grand Marju. There's so many banished cards in there right now.
Alternatively, any Toon card to just attack directly.
True. You can just get straight past. Although, what's that set card? Oh my goodness me.
Okay.
And a Max C.
Okay.
I'm not sure what's happening here. It's not quite enough, but it's put it down to 100. Does he have a burn effect in hand or something? No, he doesn't. So he's just pushing Farfa right to the brim with only 100 life points left. Farfa, it all comes down to this. What are the two cards in your hand? What is the set card that you've got on there? And are you going to have to concede this duel, this game, to Team France? We're about to find out together. All of us at home. We've got Pancratops! Whoa, okay, that was what a thing to draw into.
Yeah, and Pancratops, of course, can attack, and it can also,
It has a
later
pop
on, if
effect.
need be,
Yep.
destroy itself to then destroy one of the opponent's cards.
And it's a quick effect as well, so that's going to be amazingly useful on this turn. So what is Zulu going to do? Farfa, ironically, with that Dino Wrestler, he's right up against the ropes here with only 100 life points left. Oh, but he's immediately past turn. There's nothing more he can do. But with that Battle Fader on there, his life points are safe for a little bit. Can Farfa do anything to get past that Battle Fader and just really lay in some damage to those life points? Let's find out. There was a good draw there for him getting Pancratops. So what's he drawn now? A Raigeki! Okay, there's I haven't expected either of the things that Farfa's pulled out here. So we've had Raigeki, and then we've had Pancratops, then Raigeki. This is pretty exciting.
So
This is so close.
with that, you have to consider both players being only one single attack away from this game finishing.
So anything could happen right now. This is exciting. After seeing a bit of a showcase with tier elements and the kind of things that you can expect to see during these Master Duel qualifiers, May 16th to May 29th, and then May 26th to May 29th for the regional qualifiers. We're now seeing some fun decks coming in here and showing you exactly the range of plays that can happen. Not only is this a game of going through ranked and trying to qualify for Worlds, this is a game to have fun playing the Yu-Gi-Oh game. And right now, we're seeing two very interesting decks going right down to the wire to those final life points to see exactly what's going to happen. Zulu giving plenty of time to think through this move because it's all down to this.
Farfa versus Zulu. War Rock versus Toon Burn. Which deck, which player is going to come out on top?
Who saw these decks coming? I would never have predicted either of these. War Rock for Farfa. I thought he'd sooner have Burning Abyss. But it served him well. That Pancratops.
Oh.
Wait, hang on. Wait. He could have something in hand. He could have another Battle Fader or something. Let's not, it's not over. It's not over until the last card is played and that last life point is gone. What does Farfa have in hand to just secure this? Farfa's had that set card in the Spell and Trap Zone for a while and it's done nothing. So I wonder what that's been this whole time.
This is really painful for the burn deck just because you've done 7,900 points of damage. That's almost
That's almost game.
a game.
I was seeing another War Rock, but that could be game. What are we seeing? Is anything going to prevent this from happening? Oh! I told you there's another Battle Fader!
But
Oh, it's a War Rock Dignity!
negate the effect of the monster.
No way! Has Farfa just secured the game with the spell that I was saying has been in there this whole time and done nothing? Has he secured it? He secures it! Farfa has taken home the win! 3 wins for the UK. A full house. I was not expecting that. I even said, what was that face down card in the Spell and Trap Zone gonna be? And there it is, a 3 victory. Goodness me. That was absolutely incredible. I am so happy that we got to see that. Are you having I mean, what were you expecting to happen there? That could have been anything. Anything could have happened in there. And very shortly, we are going to hear from our 2 duelists. And we're going to talk to them about what that duel was like. But Goodness me, that was exciting.
Yeah, that Team Farfa clean sweep, but that couldn't have been a more exciting, explosive game to round things out. Toon Burn, the kaiju place, the comic hand, everything seemed to be going by way of Zulu, and then that face down that you said had been there since turn 1, just kind of ominously sitting there. It decided the game.
That was so exciting. I can't believe I even had the nerve to say what I said about that face down card, almost like it was pointless. And look at it. It helped negate that battle fader at the end. But I said exactly that. I said the battle fader, he might have a battle fader in its hand, even though that's an empty field, it might not be the end. I've almost got clairvoyance here, Ibris, like I'm some kind of dueling prophet. I can see it all. But we're going to have a quick interview with those guys in just a moment. But goodness me, I need to settle down, Ibris. That was exciting. I'm happy. That's such a perfect display of Master Duel for me. We got to see a Telements mirror match. Very important for you guys to see if you're going into the WCQ right now. We got to see Telements versus Branded. Again, super relevant for you guys to be seeing. And then we got to see such fun and interesting decks. The Warrock deck and then the Toon Burn deck, which, again, I'd never expected either of those.
That Toon Burn deck where you can attack directly with the Toon and then the
kaiju.
Yeah,
yeah.
The kaiju got turned into a Toon with the comic hand, and then the rewind on the
oh my
double
God, yes.
attack.
That was
for the
crazy.
almost.
That was almost game.
Win.
If it had some kind of equip card on it as well, that would have been absolutely nuts. But, you know, instead of us just gushing about the amazing duel you've seen, it's time for us to speak to our two duelists about the incredible duel that we just witnessed. Farfa, Zulu, congratulations to you, Farfa, but well done. Zulu, we're going to come over to you. How was that duel for you?
It was very fun. I tried to beat him with my Maxi, but that didn't work. I have 2 Nibiru in hand, so against Warrock didn't work. But Farfa is a genius with a Warrock tech.
Honestly,
yeah,
it was
playing
amazing.
the Maxi by playing a deck that can't special summon to save its life. You know, that's the workaround.
And Farfa, genius you are as labeled by Zulu. How did you feel about going 3-0 as a team that time around?
Well, what can I say? I'm blessed with some very talented friends, so you know that was great. And for game number 3, I brought out the old faithful, and yeah, it worked out really well. So I had a pleasure playing against Zulu. It was an amazing back and forth I think we had. I was on the edge of my seat for so much of that, so I was really happy. Yeah, it was fantastic.
I mean, I was literally screaming.
It was a pleasure too.
It was so good. You guys were such good sports about the whole thing as well. But honestly, at the end, I'll be honest, Farfa, I had the nerve to question your back row card. I said, "What are you doing? It's been there the whole duel.
10 turns. The
10
whole game.
and nothing.
10 turns.
And then it came out right at the end. But also, Zulu, you had a moment where you had an empty field and you passed back over to Farfa, and we thought it might be over there. But I turned to Ibris and I said, he could have a battle fader. It could be there. And immediately, I was on your wavelength, Zulu.
Yeah,
it was great.
Literally has it. Yep.
Yeah.
Actually, Farfa, the play there that was really cool for us to see was when you darkhold your own face-up monster to have access to the lightning orb.
That was crazy.
It was a horrible play, but it was the only thing I could do. So
it was great.
You know, that Toon World is crazy.
There was some galaxy brain plays there. And also, Farfa, I've just noticed over your shoulder that you've got the rescue rabbit, which, just a reminder for you guys, we're doing 5 giveaways. Head over to Twitter to find out more about that. He's grabbing it as well. Oh, look, there it is. That's excellent. You too, one of 5 that we're giving away. So make sure you go and check out more information. So, Zulu, I want to ask, why did you pick the deck that you picked?
I played Nibiru Toon because I have a question for you.
Okay.
Which deck beat Tier Element?
None
Which
of
deck
them.
is better than Tier Element? is a tier element toon.
Oh, well, okay.
You can grab a tier element card with comic hand and just lethal him with a direct attack.
I mean, you're a genius.
Is the reason why I play this deck.
I mean,
because it's too funny.
That's great. So you're sort of playing the meta with toons. I like that. That's exciting. Farfa, why the Warrock? Was it to stay away from Nibiru's and things? Is that why you chose Warrock?
My signature deck, so to speak, is Burning Abyss, of
Yes.
course. And I had a little, wager with my stream a couple months ago to dismantle all of my Burning Abyss cards.
Whoa!
So I've went into Warrock as my little pet deck, and yeah, it's really fun. It's a battle centric, good old fashioned Yu-Gi-Oh! Just back and forth, attack, pass, and I really enjoy it. Whenever there's a chance to play it, and the meta is a little bit lower powered, especially when Zulu agrees to play not tier limit, then I think we can get a good little duel out of it. So it was really fun.
Excellent to hear, and yeah, really, really great game there. Speaking of Tearlament, we did see a lot of it in the earlier games of the series. Farfa, I just wanted to ask you particularly, because Zulu already mentioned you could only upgrade tier by adding toon. What are your thoughts about cards that we expect to see around the WCS time?
Yeah, I mean, going into the stage 1 qualifier, which I just came back from holiday this morning, so I've slowly picking away at some of those D levels, and yeah, you're gonna see a lot of tier limit. You're gonna see a lot of tier limit, and people who don't like tier limit, in that case being Dimension Shifter and Banish cards and Flew Under. So we're really kind of in this position of like, there's this deck tier limit, and then there's everything that's trying to beat it. So that's sort of like naturally makes the most sense, because at the highest competitive level, if you want to make that stage 2, which is next weekend for the stage 2, then you're going to have to you're gonna have to figure out how to pilot tier limit to perfection, or attempt to beat it with Nibiru Toons, apparently.
Yeah,
So.
no kidding. We were actually going to ask both of you some of your suggestions for cards that you should have in better. So going up against tier limits, we've talked about Abyss Dweller, Ghost Haunted Mansion, and things like that, and Mask Change 2 and Dark Law, which is a big fan of. What cards would you guys advise that people play against tier limits?
Play Shifter is a good boy. And you can play it on Nibiru Toon.
Oh, well, there you go. It's perfect.
It was a strat.
Yeah.
It was a strat.
Yeah, that is definitely one way to play it out. But if your deck can't handle banishing your own cards as well, a little fun deck that I was actually trying out as soon as Tier Limit was released alongside the Blessings of Nature selection pack was Madolche, since they get a lot of support with the Vernisolf monsters. If you combine that with the Ishizu Exchange of the Spirit Monster package, then you have a lot of ways to disrupt your opponent's graveyard while also locking yourself under Earth monsters, which isn't an issue for Madolche. So as a little sort of anti-meta pick of sorts, I think that's probably, I think maybe the most competitive non-tier limit deck right now. But yeah, that's maybe something worth looking at if you haven't already checked out the Blessings of Nature selection pack. I think it's pretty cool.
Absolutely.
Excellent. And actually, Farfa, just something that we've seen you recently on some of your streams has been the Blackwing deck. With that free Blackwing Full Armor Master Royal Finish card being given as part of the campaigning game. Could you tell us a little bit more about that and fully utilize this fantastic card?
Yeah, Blackwing's just got their structure deck, and I've had a blast attempting to make it work, because unfortunately, the issue with Blackwing is that you have to play some of these older cards from literally like 15 years ago. And sometimes you only draw those ones, and that's kind of rough. But the new structure deck has all these really insane cards like Sutri, and I guess like Samoon more recently. So you combine those together, and you can put up 3 Assault Wing Dragons, and your opponent pays 2,100 life points for every single card they activate. I don't know how you deal with that. It's pretty hard, but if you're going to win a lot of dice rolls, it's only 1,500 gems, and you've got the entire deck. Like it's amazing.
Goodness me. Well, that's a heck of an answer. But what a good way of helping promote this deck. Well, we much appreciate it. We have a couple more questions for you guys. Outside of the, the anti-meta decks, are there any staple cards that you think people should have? Farfa, what are your thoughts? Like staple cards for people to run, no matter what the deck in this format.
Well, Zulu mentioned Shifter, but again, that's not always 100% being able to be played in every deck. Obviously, I think the best card that should be in every deck ever in Master Duel has to be Maxi.
Yeah.
Tearlament special summons a lot. Activate Maxi. You're always going to like 1-for-1 or +1 off of that, even if they just go kit, pass, get a Sulik or something. You're always going to get some kind of value. After Maxi, I would probably be leaning towards like DD Crow. I think works out quite nicely. Just simply hitting a Tearlament in the graveyard that activates to put itself back. You DD Crow, they don't get to fuse anymore. And sometimes Tearlament only really has one play with going into a fusion with a singular monster that they can activate for that turn. DD Crow just works great in every deck. It doesn't cost you anything other than the card itself, and it doesn't like disrupt you. There's no like sort of double-edged sword effect with Shifter. So that's kind of like just a nice way to like play that in pretty much any deck you're running right now.
A great answer. And Zulu, any staple cards you think people should be running?
Maybe Macrocosmos, but I think
You love vanishing cards, don't you?
Sorry?
You just love banishing cards.
Yes, because I play Maju.
Well, finally, the thing I want to ask is, do you guys have any advice for people going into this qualifier? Zulu, you go first.
Simply play with your heart and grab your grandpa deck.
That's a great answer. Fantastic. Farfa, any advice for people watching about going into this qualifying season?
Well, if unfortunately your grandfather's deck doesn't have any good cards in it, then you can always log in to Master Duel right now. You get a lot of freebies, and just for simply showing up, you get some gems, and that helps you build your deck completely just off the bat, especially if you haven't played in a while. You can claim a lot of the gem rewards just from the anniversary or the world celebration that's going on right now. So it's a great way to just get back in and just build a deck from scratch, try something new, play the Tearlaments if you want, play some other anti-meta decks if you want to try that as well. There's a lot of good options going on right now, and it's a great time to jump back in, I'd say.
It certainly is. And just one more time, thank you so much, both of you, for coming and joining us on here. It's been such a pleasure. Congratulations, Farfa, on your team's victory. And Zulu, I'm sorry you didn't win, but I will say you're a genius. You're a genius to come up with these kind of decks with the tune tiers, whatever you're doing is great. We've lost Farfa's visual feed for a second and he was a white mist, but now he's back for one more time. Guys, thank you so much again. Like, honestly, this is great and we really appreciate it. So take care, and maybe we'll see you guys at the other end of the WCQ. We'll all find out together, but enjoy the rest of your days and hopefully we'll see you guys again soon.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, gents. But that has been it for us for this Road to Worlds thing. That was the final of the exhibition match we're going to see, and what a duel it was.
Very, very exciting games here tonight, and actually we got to see some really unconventional cards come out, some really great plays.
I think just great. What we were saying earlier, this has been a really good display of Duel Links and Master Duel across this entire Road to Worlds coverage, because we got to see some fun decks mixed in with some meta decks, which is exactly what you need. We got to see the classic stuff like the Blue Eyes and the Dark Magician, but we got to see the Gandor and the Orcus, like these kind of things that are being played a lot in the meta. So you're going to need to know and need to see. And then when we came over to Master Duel, we had exactly the same. We had the Tearlaments mirror match. We had Tearlaments versus Branded. These are all decks you're going to be seeing a lot.
Branded Buster Blader.
Sorry, you're right. Branded Buster Blader. An interesting take on the Branded. And then at the end, we got to see two brilliant duelists and great creators in the community just have a great duel that I'm so glad wasn't a one-sided affair. It was brilliant because there was like the entire thing by the end was so exciting and tense.
Yeah, and all of the individuals taught us so much about their decks and showed us so much about Master Duel. And with that knowledge that you got, why not leverage it into taking the Master Duel proficiency test and hoping that you get at least 12 out of 15 questions correct to hopefully eventually get some card protectors for everybody.
And that's the best thing you could be part of that Master Duel community, all trying to come together so that all of us can have some products. Where can people find out more about this?
Find out more in the in-game notifications or on the Yu-Gi-Oh! Card EU Twitter.
And this has been so exciting. Thank you so much for having us. Before we go, I'm going to remind people one more time on the dates that they're going to need for both Duel Links and Master Duel to take full advantage of this. So obviously from today in Duel Links, there's the in-game campaign that started. By the time you're going to need is from the 30th of May, 12th of June for your qualifiers. And then for Master Duel, when's our Master Duel date, Zebras? You're going to ask me to do that. Okay, that's fine. So Master Duel is May 16th to May 29th, and then May 26th to May 29th as well. That is all you guys need to make sure you take part. Get in, get those points, get dueling, get building the best deck that you can, and maybe we'll see you at WCQ. This has been very exciting, Ibris. Thank you so much for being here, by the way. I really appreciated doing this with you.
Thank you for joining us and also for having me. One last time, though, please, let's remind everybody there is currently a giveaway available for this wonderful rescue rabbit. Third member of the caster desk.
And also, we've got the Arc 5 Yuya pendant as well, which you guys can get your hand on. There's 5 of those. So go online to Twitter to find out exactly how you guys can get that. But like I've said, this is so much fun. I've really enjoyed getting to do this. I'm really looking forward to seeing exactly what the WCS this year will be holding, with Master Duel coming back for the first time, and the first time that we've had it in 4 years. It's so exciting to see that, and we appreciate all of you guys for sticking with us through this road to Worlds coverage and just seeing what happens. So thank you very much from me. I've been Ed Templar. Ibris Dyer.
Thank you.
We much appreciate all of you guys for coming and watching, and we will see you on the road to Worlds. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.